intervention of Sister Nivedita. Many of us perhaps don't know this, that Jagadish Chandra Bose, one of the eminent scientists, was supported by her too. So we look forward to today's program, which is focused on onto this the security of youth. As the MC has already mentioned, there are quite a number of things that we are concerned as a university or as an officer of the university. The menace of the society, including drug abuse, cybercrime, and other affairs which we sincerely think that we should be aware of. And we are very thankful to the Commissionerate of Bidhannagar to have come to us and in detail explain to us what are the things we should be aware of and how we should be dealing with these things. Thank you so much.
As Professor Chatterjee said, that SNU as a bright, vibrant university, and it so happens that we are supported and loved by so many of the community, that build us, and people from the community, one of them definitely being our officers. We're extremely lucky to have their support, and their support was eminent, of course, in our massive work that we did at the book fair. And we've always, in fact, been supported and held up by the officers. They've always supported us. We have our students have made an AV to give tribute to these wonderful, wonderful officers who've helped us throughout, especially, during the book fair. Without them, the entire mammoth work that Kolkata Book Fair it couldn't have been possible. So we are just with an AV, we just would like to give you a tribute made by our students, of course, of Sister Nivedita University.
এবং আমার মনে হয় যে এই যে এভিটা এটার মাধ্যমে আমরা জাস্ট ট্রিবিউট জানিয়েছি বিধাননগর পুলিশ কমিশনারেটকে। এই 15 দিনের বিরাট বইমেলায়, গোটা বইমেলায় কয়েক লক্ষ মানুষ এসেছেন, রেকর্ড সংখ্যক মানুষ এসেছেন, কিন্তু ভীষণ স্মুথলি পুরো বিষয়টা অর্গানাইজ করার জন্য কোনো রকমের ছোটোখাটো ক্রাইমের কথাও আমরা জানতে পারিনি। আমার মনে হয় যে আমরা এভিটা শুরু করার আগে আমরা বিধাননগর পুলিশ কমিশনারেটকে একটা অভিনন্দন জানানো উচিত। Can we have the AV please now?
Kolkata is the city of joy, and for this joy to stay and not fade away, the West Bengal Police Force has always stood firmly by every individual. The city, known for its festivities, be it the grand Durga Puja celebration, the literary festival, to the International Kolkata Book Fair, graced by renowned delegates, are among the few celebrations having the maximum footfall, and this year has been no different. Under the strict vigilance and immense dedication and cooperation of the West Bengal Police, the legacy of the International Kolkata Book Fair has continued.
বই মেলাকে খুবই গুরুত্ব দিয়ে অ্যারেঞ্জমেন্ট করা হচ্ছে। আমাদের ভিতরে ক্রাউড সার্কুলেশন হোক বা বই মেলা বাইরে ক্রাউড সার্কুলেশন, তার সাথে সাথে সেফটি সিকিউরিটি, সিসিটিভি ইনস্টলেশনস আছে, এর মধ্যে পুলিশ ডিপ্লয়মেন্ট আছে, পুরো পার্মানেন্ট একটা পুলিশ কন্ট্রোল রুম করা হচ্ছে।
The 46th International Kolkata Book Fair continues to amaze the residents as the footfall reaches thousands and lakhs. Despite the heavy crowding, the residents assure their confidence on the West Bengal Police to make them feel safe and protected in their surroundings.
We have a lot of teams here. There are plainclothes teams, there are female police teams which are manning the security gates, then there's a team which is manning the control room. This time displayed various arms as well as bomb disposal kits are there, then drone is there. Also conducting awareness regarding traffic security, women's security, child security. So this additional feature is there from the part of police this year.
দেখুন একটা জিনিস সবচেয়ে ক্লিয়ার আছে, এটা পুজো হোক, কোনো মেলা হোক বা কোনোই অকেশন পুরো কলকাতা জুড়ে আমরাও এটা খুব ভালো করে এনজয় করি, ওটা জায়গায় জায়গায় যায়। রিজন কিন্তু একটাই, কলকাতা পুলিশ কিন্তু দাঁড়িয়ে আছে।
Known for their service and respectful demeanor, West Bengal Police has always tried to stand out. This year, again, West Bengal Police has arranged for a team of security force comprising women named the Black Cat or the winner team, responsible for women and children's safety.
Women empowerment has been defined in several ways. This time, Bidhannagar and West Bengal Police Council has raised a bar by putting all women force together for the safety of women, this time in Book Fair and in Bidhannagar. Let's go and let us know about their work.
উইনার্স টিমের মেনলি কাজ হচ্ছে আমাদের মহিলাদের সুরক্ষার জন্য। যে কোনো রকম মহিলা সংক্রান্ত ব্যাপারে আমরা মহিলাদেরকে প্রোটেক্ট করে থাকি।
ইন্টারন্যাশনাল বুক ফেয়ারে আমরা মেনলি ডিউটি মর্নিং টু মানে ইভিনিং 8টা PM মহিলাদের সুরক্ষার জন্য আপনারা আসেন, কোনো অসুবিধা নেই, কোনো কিছু হলে আমরা আছি আপনাদের পাশে।
All women police team, aka winner team, is providing security to all women, not only in Book Fair Prangan, but in entire Bidhannagar area 24/7. Indeed, it's a great initiative by West Bengal and Bidhannagar Police.
Their determination and efforts towards their duty is witnessed as they patrol all day, helping people in need.
That AV audiovisual was made by the students of Sister Nivedita University in tribute to the officers, the immense work they put up, especially for the Kolkata Book Fair and the Baro Mashe Tero Parbon that goes on in Kolkata and the state itself. We have been joined by the Police Commissioner of Bidhannagar Commissionerate, IPS Gaurav Sharma. Big round of applause. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. We couldn't be more grateful. SNU is, of course, this is a special occasion for us. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Now, I would like to call upon our Honorable Registrar Sir, Shumon Sir, and RT Goswami Sir to come on stage and felicitate Mr. Gaurav Sharma, IPS Commissioner of Police, Bidhannagar.
A small token of appreciation from our students from SNU. Thank you so much for being here with us today. As Registrar Sir said on the sidelines that yes, we would like to be in his memory for a very long time. IPS Sharma. We would also take the opportunity to felicitate officers who will be giving us the session today. I would request IPS Praveen Prakash, DCP Newtown, to please also, if you can, sir, come up on the stage. We would like to felicitate you. I would request. Okay. I would also request Charu Sharma, IPS Additional DCP, and yes. Yeah. I would also request IPS J Mercy to please also come up on the stage so that we could take the opportunity to felicitate her. and of course Mr. Bishwajit Ghosh, DCDD. Sorry, it was just a little bit of information that we have. I would request all the officers to please come up on stage. We couldn't pass this opportunity to felicitate you on behalf of our students, on behalf of Sister Nivedita University. We couldn't, be more happy to have you, all of you, with us today. Thank you so much. I would request Professor Chatterjee, the registrar, and CFO sir, to please come up on stage and felicitate them. I would also request our HR director, Ina Bose, to please also come up on stage to felicitate our officers today.
We are privileged to honor Mr. Bishwajit Ghosh, DCDD. Professor Shumon Chatterjee is honoring him. Next, we are felicitating J. Mercy IPS, DCP Airport. CFO sir is felicitating him, her. We are felicitating Mr. Praveen Prakash, IPS, DCP Newtown. Ina Bose ma'am is felicitating her. Also, Charu Sharma, IPS, additional DCP. We are really privileged to have all these officers on stage, so we can't miss the photo opportunity. Can I request Gaurav Sharma ji to come on stage to have a photograph with the whole team, sir? I would also request Dr. Minal Parikh, Dean Mass Communication, to come on stage to have the photo opportunity.
I can see RTG sir also here, and Shantanu, Professor Shantanu Ray, Taposh Shatpati, Director of Administration, to please come up on stage. We would love to take this moment and cherish forever. Thank you so much. Now we've come to the very important part, students. As I was saying, safety and security, and who better than to give us brief and the layout of how safety and security is happening around the world with us, and how we are in very safe hands of the police officers of Bidhannagar Commissionerate. The presentation, with their session, with their lecture, we're extremely grateful that they have decided to give that to our students. Thank you so much.
At the very beginning of the program, what I have said that this is a digital era, and there are a number of traps lying around us. As my co-MC Indrila has mentioned, that who are the best persons to inform us, to educate us about those, especially the students, of course, the senior police officials. So I would like to request Charu Sharma, IPS, additional DCP, to come on stage and to give a presentation. She will give a presentation on anti-narcotics and drugs. Ma'am Charu Sharma, please on stage.
IPS Sharma will be deliberating on something that is very important, worldwide. It's creating a havoc. Probably the youth of India, not so much, they understand the cripples of it. IPS Charu Sharma, of course, will be talking about anti-narcotics and how to keep us safe and secure in the midst of it.
to SNU University for inviting us here and giving us an opportunity to interact with the students. So, moving forward, I will start today. The topic that I would be discussing is drugs, anti-drugs awareness. So, yeah. So this is a disclaimer. Alcohol. So if you've seen a drunk person and hopefully not been drunk yourself, you must have witnessed that the person cannot walk properly. It is difficult for the person to control his body. They slur, and maybe at the end of the day they'll pass out. So this is a perfect example of what depressants are. So can you see? So the one example of this is cannabis or marijuana. And it is also called charas, ganja, and this is how it looks like. It is a black colored substance, and it is sticky in nature, and it is broken into pieces, and it is mixed with tobacco, and it is smoked. Again, please do not try these at home. It is just for your safety purposes. So next is weed. Weed is the dried portion of the cannabis plant, and it is rolled into a joint, and it is smoked. The other is liquid ecstasy. It is injected. It is sometimes even mixed in liquid and taken. And alcohol, everybody knows about alcohol. Therefore, we always please do not drink and drive because you cannot control your motor skills. This is the reason that we always say not drink and drive. The next category is taxi stimulants. So they have the opposite effect on antidepressants. They speed up the electrical signals between your brain and your body. And these are also called as biomarkers. So if you will go out, if you go for a party, for a social gathering, the probability of these drugs is the highest there. So what they do is they increase the dopamine in your brain, which gives you the feeling of happiness. The same which you get when you have sugar or when you are out or when you are happy because of something good happening in your life. So the example is cocaine, or it's also called coke. You must have seen in a lot of movies. This is how it looks like. It's a white color substance, and it is found only in nature. It's almost like a talcum powder, and it is not. So again, don't try. This is ecstasy. Ecstasy mostly comes in the form of small tablets. So this sort of it has a mix of your body. You will feel happy, and you might also hallucinate at the same time. And the third category is methamphetamines. If you've seen Breaking Bad, this is what he produced in the show. So it is crystalline in nature. It can be smoked. It can be injected. It can be taken in various forms. The fourth category is psychedelics. So what psychedelics do is that they alter your perception of reality. So you will see things, you will hear things, you might even taste things that do not exist. And the example of this is LSD. In common parley, it is called acid. And can you change the slide? This is how it looks like. In the common form, it is a piece of paper which you actually put it on your tongue, and you will start tripping after a while. So these are the magic mushrooms. This is taken in the form of edibles. You just eat them. And the last category is opioids. Opioids are basically initially they started for the purpose of medical purposes, but we've seen that they have also been abused. Morphine is an example. They mostly relieve pain, and they will also cause the feeling of calmness and sleep. And the most dangerous category is heroin. Can you change the slides? Yeah. This is what heroin looks like. Depending upon its purity, it is called also brown sugar or chitta. If you've seen the movie Udta Punjab, this was the drug that was the most prevalent. And fentanyl is mostly injected. So heroin is something I would like to point out, that heroin has the highest level of addiction. Once you take it in your life, there's no experiment. If you've taken it once, you will get addicted to it. So the causes of addiction are, first and the foremost is identity crisis. It usually happens when you are in school, college, you want to be part of a group, you want to hang out with friends, you have some inhibitions, and a friend comes up and tells you that, hey, take up this drug, or you should have this and you will have fun. Or you'll go to a party and everybody will tell you that, oh, why are you being such a buzzkill? Let's go out, let's have this. So you just want to be part of the group, and that's how you end up taking that drug. The other reason is stress, that you have stress at home because of your relations. Maybe it is because of your work pressure in school, in college. You're going through a bad breakup and you don't know what to do, so you turn to drugs. And the last is depression. So now we will, next slide, talk about the cycle of addiction. So there are 4 stages to it. The first stage is experimentation. You just want to try it out. So you went to a party, you tried Coke, you had fun. So it is event specific. You were sad, you had drugs. You felt good about it. But what will happen, you'll enter into the next stage. That whenever that event occurs, you take up the drugs. So whenever you had fun in a party, you had drugs. So next time you'll go to a party, you will say, oh, let's again have the same drug because we had fun last time. Or you were sad, so you will again move towards the drugs. So it is associated with a particular event, and whenever that event happens in your life, you will turn towards drugs. The third stage is when you start misusing the drugs. So it is no longer event specific. Irrespective of that trigger, you are taking the drugs. And the last stage is when your body is dependent on it physiologically. It is like water, that you need to have water and your body cannot function without the drugs. And this is the most dangerous stage that you can get in. I would like to play a video. Can you play the video? This was an interview given by Sanjay Dutt.
That was the time I decided that I'll be high on life, I'll be high on work, I'll be high on family, but never on drugs. Never, ever on drugs. It all starts with the lady. Okay?
Always. With the good men, it always starts with the lady.
Basically, I'm a very introvert, very kind of a shy person where a lady is concerned. And I could never interact. Suppose if I like somebody, I couldn't go up and say hi and how are you and all. And I met these couple of guys in college, and they said that you try this stuff out, man. I mean, all your inhibitions come out and all that stuff. I said, what is this? So he says it's a joint. I said, I've done too many joints in school, man. I mean, it doesn't matter. So then he took out some powder, and he says you got to put it on a paper and you got to smoke it. So I tried it and I felt sick initially. But I wanted to do it just to get out of my inhibitions. And it got me out of the inhibitions, but it got me stuck into that rut, which was so bad. That I got into it. I mean, I was into it for 10 years. I did everything possible in the medical book, from cocaine to heroin to uppers and downers to hallucinogens to peyote to everything possible, and there's one fantastic incident. Have you guys heard of LSD ever? Yeah. So
I can't believe there's an audience that is not saying yes. You're speaking to the wrong audience, Sanjay.
I'm saying heard, I didn't say take. LSD is a hallucinogen. So I had taken it and it kind of kicks in a little later. And I was sitting at home and I was saying nothing is happening and this phone rang. No cell phones, there's no normal phone. So the operator picks up and says, it's a phone from the office and your dad wants to talk to you. I said, oh, hell. From the office, dad calling means bad news, yeah? So I spoke to him, he says, jaldi office aa jao. I said, okay. So I went. Now he's talking to me and it suddenly hit me. And he's talking to me like, now I'm saying to myself, Sanju, now you're tripping, just take it easy, just take it easy, just keep nodding. So I kept nodding and I kept hearing him like that. You know, so I said, man, just take it easy. And then all of a sudden I saw a wick come out of his head. And that wick caught on fire. Now here's the table, I'm sitting here, he's there. And I'm looking at him and I'm saying, what the hell is this, man? I said, Sanjay, you're tripping, take it easy. You know, you're hallucinating. And then, I mean, he started melting like wax, you know, like wax. Like, he was like a candle, you know, and, you know, I reached a point and I just couldn't help it, but I kind of dove on top of him. I was trying to put his face together and trying to put the stuff off. And he just couldn't understand कि I क्यों है यार मेरे पुत्र नु. You know, and he was saying, "Hada isko, क्या है पूरे रंग दबे क्या निकालो?" I said, "Dad, you know, I love you and this and that." So I mean, for him, a Punjabi guy, he didn't understand कि मेरे पुत्र नु क्यों है यार. So you know, I mean, there are many things like that. I mean, like then eventually it reached a point where actually.
So this is his story. You can look up this video. The point being here is that this is the interview of Sanjay Dutt. So this person was lucky enough that he has the resources to go to a place, to go to a rehab center, and you know, take the best medical services available. But this is not the situation for everybody. People like you and me, we don't have that opportunity. He went to some place called Miami and then he got into a rehab and these things. So the point here is that, can you change this slide? Yeah. What effect does it have on us? You know, starting from, you know, weight loss, you'll be sleeping for 2 days, you will not be eating for 2 days, you might end up with organ damage, liver damage, if it is alcohol, permanent brain damage, and you might even die because of overdose. And you just need a few milligrams of the product, nothing more than that. So your first experiment can be the last in your life. So other thing is that it's social. When you look at your relations, nobody wants to be a person who's always under the influence of drugs. Initially, it might be cool, but then it is a very, very big issue for your family, for your friends. And this is something which I've seen personally, that most of the people end up being abandoned by the families because they can't take care of the drug addict anymore. The economical effect is that drugs are extremely expensive. 1 kg of heroin costs around 1 crore. So if you end up into this, you will need a lot of money. If you are employed, you cannot focus on your job. You will end up losing your job. And then what will happen? You will start stealing. When that doesn't work, you'll borrow. If that doesn't work, under the influence of drugs, you might end up killing somebody. And you won't even realize that you've done that. And then the last is legal. Legal is that if you're caught with any of the products above, under NDPS Act, you might end up in jail. You might end up killing somebody. You might end up driving drunk, and again killing or hurting somebody. So this is the effect of like 7 years of addiction on a person. So how to know? For your friends, for families, for teachers, sudden mood swings, either there's decline in attendance, there's poor relationship with your family, you have temper issues, you start borrowing money, you start stealing money, and you start staying aloof, or you start hanging out with a bunch of people with whom you didn't earlier. So these are the signs that one should see. What to do? Anything which is snorted, anything which is injected, anything which is smoked, or any other tablet which is not prescribed to you medical is a no. There is nothing, there's no gray area. It is a no, and it's a myth about experimentation. There's nothing called as experimentation. So be safe, know what is there in the market, and protect yourself from that. Other is that if you have taken drugs and you think that you need help, seek help. Talk to your friends, talk to your parents, talk to your teachers in school, colleges. Don't fear this thing that if I will go out, they will judge me, and this will not be good for me. Look at the long-term approach. The other is provide help. If you think someone is suffering from drug abuse, please reach out and help the person. We have a lot of places. We have rehab centers, we have therapists, we have psychologists who can help you out of that situation. And the last is that if you think that somebody is dealing in drugs, please do inform the legal authorities about it so that we can take the action. So that is it. Any questions? Questions, answers? Nothing? Do you have any questions for Matt? Do you have any questions? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. As she said, drugs looks good on books, on cinema, but in real life, it's a bad choice. Thank you so much for that awareness, and I hope our students will be really entitled. And as she said, do not learn from this. This is an awareness thing, so you stay away. This was a lesson to stay away from these substances. Thank you so much. I would next request IPS Praveen Prakash, DCP Newtown. He will be talking about something, of course, again, very relevant, cybersecurity and fraud. This is something I think our students will relate to utmost because they are always in the cyberspace. So let us take a lesson from him on how to, prevent attack on us on the cyberspace. Thank you, sir, for your presentation. Can we have his presentation loaded, please?
Good morning, everyone. Charu gave a very nice PPT on the drug abuse and what all kind of drugs available in the market. So today, on behalf of Vidhannagar Police, I'm going to make you people aware about all kind of cybersecurity fraud and other cybersecurity threat that you people face in your life, and how can you protect yourself. So I would be in my PPT not to preachy about the theory of the cybersecurity. I would be mostly focusing on the kind of cyber fraud that has been happening as it is happening, so that you can relate to the things that has been happening around you. You can get to know how people get called and how do they get defrauded, how do people get cyber bullied and all these kind of things. So nowadays, the mostly cybersecurity with that affects the most of the person is with respect to the bank fraud and the cybersecurity economic fraud. The other part comes is the normal cyberbullying and impersonation, identity theft, these kind of things. So they are very normal things. There are certain things for which you have to just do normal things on the internet. How to, protect yourself on the internet. So that I'll be taking at the end of the PPT. Initially, I would be talking on mainly the fraud that happens on the cyberspace and how can you protect yourself. So I would be strictly directly going on with the kind of fraud and delving each point by point. And I'll just highlight before going ahead with the steps that the cyber fraudster take in committing any fraud. Normally, there are two emotions that the cyber fraudster always play with you, and they are the emotion of the fear and the greed. And I had been into cyber domain for a quite long time, and I had been in a position. So I got to know that there are only two these emotions, fear and greed. The cyber fraudster tap and take टेक मनी आउट ऑफ यू. कैसी बातें होती हैं? फियर, सर आपका इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कनेक्शन कट जाएगा, योर कार्ड जो आपने रिचार्ज करवाया वो ब्लॉक हो जाएगा, या आपने पैन कार्ड अपडेट नहीं किया तो आपका टैक्स इम्प्लीकेशन बढ़ जाएगा. इफ़ यू डू नॉट रजिस्टर अस टुडे, मे बी आपका वैक्सीनेशन का ड्राइव था, यू विल नॉट बी एंटाइटल्ड फॉर दैट वैक्सीनेशन ड्राइव. These kind of things you keep on hearing. This is the emotion of fear. And the second thing that comes to is the emotion of greed. सर आप ये अगर ऑफर लेंगे तो आपको क्रेडिट कार्ड में इतना डिस्काउंट मिलेगा. आपने सर परसों शॉपिंग किया था फ्लिपकार्ट पे या अमेजन पे, वी गॉट टू नो अबाउट द डिटेल्स, तो आप इस पर कुछ और पेमेंट करेंगे तो आपको एक बढ़िया कार जीतने का मौका मिल सकता है. मे बी आप कुछ और ऐसा बोला जाएगा कि आप पेमेंट करेंगे तो आपको अभी इंश्योरेंस के प्रीमियम का डिडक्शन हो जाएगा. दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग हैपन्स. सो दे आर टू इमोशन, greed and fear. They play with your emotion. So before I go ahead with the presentation, you always weigh every modus operandi that I will be discussing over here with these things in my mind. Was I under an emotion where they are tapping my emotion of fear or greed? If it is so, if somebody unknown is tapping that two emotions of mine, I should be doubly cautious while I deal with anything on the internet, cyberspace, where I do not know the other person on the internet. So please just have this focus in your mind. Greed and emotion ka fear. Greed and fear ka emotion. How does it play in all these instances? And you will definitely safeguard yourself from any cyber fraud if you are aware of these two emotions. How do they play with these emotions? Fraud through phishing. Phishing, you might be aware, phishing is just sending you a kind of email, sending you some kind of messages through which you open some kind of web portal and you enter your detail. And you end up giving your credentials, you end up giving your UPI ID or maybe password, these kind of things. They manipulate you somehow. And phishing का बहुत सा तरीका मैंने दिया है यहाँ पे. Are you people able to see what are written on the right hand side of this presentation? Yes. See the very first image that I have put over there. Can you go a little up? Scroll कीजिए ऊपर थोड़ा. इसके ऊपर का इमेज दिखाइए आप. Yes. You must have got this kind of message, email on your emails. And these kind of emails claim a lot of things that you can get on the cyberspace. Do not fall for these. How do you place the emotion of fear and greed in this thing? It is the emotion of greed, that I am going to get something out of that if I register on this link. And before going ahead, just think twice. Should I go ahead with that or not? Otherwise, once the money is lost, it is very difficult to return that money back, because nowadays so much of huge fake transactions are happening in the cyberspace that it is really little difficult to finally reach up to the level of the person who has actually committed the fraud, and takes a lot of time. So here plays the emotion of greed. Next. So how do you generally prevent you are the victim of phishing attack? These kind of emails, when you see the emails, there might be translation error, some kind of spelling error. The domains that you mention over there, they might not be that genuine. Just go through the domain name exactly. For example, somebody calls for flipkart.com, and if you click on that, so it might not be flipkart.com, it might be flipkart.cc. So Flipkart ka genuine domain is flipkart.com, but cc is not your domain. Somebody has taken that domain, purchased the domain, and you end up in believing that this domain is genuine, and you just go ahead with the transaction. So be doubly sure in handling any website which has come in your email and where you have to say your credential. Next. Fraud to wishing. This is a type of phishing only. Wishing, wish means the voice plus phishing. Well, somebody calls you up and then they tell you that sir, we have this kind of offer for you. If you go ahead with this thing, so please install something, or please go in this website and please transfer some kind of money, and they trick you into some kind of belief that they are going to, what they are telling is right. And then again, in wishing call, they again tap your emotion of fear and greed. Sometimes they offer you some kind of heavy discounted loan. कभी आपको बोलेंगे कि आपका ज़्यादा credit card block हो जाएगा, ऐसी कुछ बोलेंगे आपको बातें. Again, here the emotion of fear and greed will come. So whenever somebody calls you up, you do not know the person, please, before going ahead with any transaction, double check that thing. Next. Again, this, I'll tell you, almost everything would be similarly and related only. But I have just broken the things down into small pieces by my experience that these kind of specific frauds happen and they are very common. It is not that whatever I will be discussing over it, they are the end of everything. They keep on, the fraudster keep on manipulating you, generating new ideas how to defraud you. The only parameter yardstick that you have to apply there is the fear and greed emotion. I think that will help you out. So again, fraud using online marketplace is same thing, and somebody calls you up and posts an ad over there on some marketplace, something OLX or something of that sort, quicker, और आपको बोलेगा वो कि I am interested in your ad, whatever you have put, and I want to purchase that some certain thing. Then somehow they'll trick you into making payment, and they'll again trick you that, all right, if you please send me 10 rupees, then I'll again send you some money so that I get to know your account. But instead, when they're sending you a link for you getting 10 rupees, rather that is the link you sending them rupees 10. So if you are very careful when they send the link, if you are very careful before going ahead with the transaction, you can easily see that you are going to transfer certain amount of money to that person. So be very, very sure whenever you are going to transact with the money with some person who you do not know, somebody maybe you know, and you know just within maybe half an hour or maybe 10 minute time span में आपको किसी मुलाकात हुई होगी, and be very doubly sure. Next slide, please. I have written here specifically OLX, Quicker, Facebook stores, Instagram stores. There you will find a lot of stores on the Facebook, Instagram, social media pages. Please go on this link and you can make a lot of money on the cryptocurrency platform. Please go through this link and you can get an insurance policy at a very cheap rate. You can get a gold loan at very cheap rate. These kind of things keep on happening on your Facebook and Instagram ads. So fraudsters deliberately put those things to defraud you. Please go to that slide. And again, I'll highlight one more thing, that all of a sudden people might ask, how does it happen that all of a sudden the cyber fraud has increased to such an extent? There are a few reasons for that, and I will specifically tell you that people go on sharing their number at a lot of places. You just fill up random web forms, Google forms, something of that sort. You go to some mall, you hand over your numbers to the people who are asking for something, for some out of service. Please refrain from sharing your number, mobile number, to someone who might then sell your number to somebody, some fraudster, and then suppose you have given some kind of travel agency is roaming around in a mall, and they often come to you people, sir, आप हमारे पास register करेंगे तो आपको ये फायदा मिलेगा. Then you end up giving the mobile number to them. Then maybe 2 महीने के बाद you get a call in the same context that sir आप क्योंकि you have registered for something which is related to travel and hotel kind of thing. Then you might think that, all right, this person is genuine, मेरा interest, मैंने कभी form भरा था, from there they have gotten that, so I might go ahead with the transaction. You do not know when you have shared the number, how your number is going to get shared to some other fraudster. So that is why you should be very, very cautious in sharing your mobile number or personal detail to anyone, any person moving around the mall or somewhere. So that is one of the steps that you can take so that you do not get any unwanted calls. This is This is again a kind of thing that we have seen. This is all kind of phishing attack only. They just put you in an emotion of fear or greed. Debit card annual fee waiver हो जाएगा आपका अगर आपने अगर payment किया मेरे को 1000 रुपए, या any bank related fee or offer जो मैंने बोला card block हो जाएगा. And you can see some snippet that I have put over here. Your SBI account has been blocked. Please click on this link to deactivate your account. When you open this account, you will just see SBI looking page. Any fraudulent actor can easily make that page. You will genuinely believe that it is a State Bank of India web page, and you will just share your credentials like your username, your password, everything, and just end up being defrauded of your money. Please go back. एक स्लाइड पीछे जाइए, एक स्लाइड पीछे। ये देखिए सेकंड मैंने स्निपेट लगा, योर अकाउंट कैन बी क्रेडिटेड विद 33,000, एंटर योर डिटेल्स एंड चेक नाउ। दीज काइंड ऑफ leering message you get. So please do not go ahead with any financial transaction on any random website. Do not even enter your email address, mobile number, or any of your UPI ID, any bank account detail. What worst can happen? The worst can happen, somebody has told you that your credit card will be blocked. Let it be blocked for one day. Maybe then you can go to the banks and clarify with the bank, and bank will then unblock your credit card. If somebody it has now stopped. During last 6 months, people have been getting message that their electricity connection would be disconnected, CESC fraud was happening. What worse can happen? You will end up not having electricity in your home just for one night. Next day you can go to the CSC office and then clarify with them, and then you can get the connection back. So this is the fear they play with. This is the emotion of fear that they play. So please do not fall for that. मैं जितना भी चीज़ दिखाऊंगा यहाँ पे, you always weigh in terms of fear and greed का emotion. And if you balance that out, if you're very, sincere in balancing that out, you will never ever get defrauded. All right. Please go to the next slide. This is again a new type of technology that they have been using to defraud you. This is again, they will do some kind of phishing attack, some kind of phishing attack on you, that if you do something, then you will get something. Then they'll ask, all right sir, when you have clicked, please install some kind of app on your phone. Earlier they used to send you forms, you open that website and you enter the details and you get defrauded. Now they keep on evolving. So that is why I cannot keep on highlighting everything, how do they evolve. With time we will be able to tell you. But again, if you put here the yardstick of the emotion, you will not be defrauded. ये ऐप क्या करता है, वो आपको बोलेंगे कि आप सर ट्रांजैक्शन करिए और ये एक ऐप इंस्टॉल कीजिए, इस ऐप में आपका मदद करेंगे हम ट्रांजैक्शन को गो हेड करने में. These kind of apps generally remote sharing app होते हैं, जो through which you share your screen of the mobile phone or the laptop or the computer. They are AnyDesk, Quick Support, Zoom का भी एक remote sharing होता है, and TeamViewer, इस टाइप के apps हैं. When you share, whatever you are getting on mobile phone, your OTPs, your PIN, whatever you are entering, they are able to see that. So my next request to you would be, again, do not install any malicious app if somebody has sent you. Normally in Android, there is a feature when you go on installing certain app through some APK file, if somebody has sent, it always asks you, it might be malicious app, please go ahead with caution. Then you allow all right, I understand the risk, and then you go ahead with that. So please do not do that at all, and in the first place. Secondly, if somebody asks you to install these kind of apps, please do not go ahead in sharing your screen with other people, because they might be stealing your credential. Because once you do that, they have complete access of your phone, and that can only be disconnected when you close the app. So it is better you do not install the app. As simple as that. Please go to the next slide. This is also one of the biggest kind of fraudulent activity that we have been seeing on the internet. And a multi-stakeholder kind of thing, I'll tell you. They keep on evolving the ideas. Earlier they used to do phishing attack. Now people got to know that OTP से किसी के साथ करना नहीं है, पिन किसी के साथ शेयर नहीं करना है. Just 7-8 महीने से ये हम लोग देख रहे हैं ये, या rather 1 साल से. When you search on the internet, normally what happens? You are tracking a courier service, Blue Dart courier service helpline number. ऐसे सर्च करते हैं हम लोग. अगर मान लीजिए हमने कहीं स्पेंसर से कुछ सामान खरीदा, स्पेंसर हेल्पलाइन नंबर, या हमने बिग बाजार का या फ्लिपकार्ट का हेल्पलाइन नंबर सर्च करते हैं हम. तो here I have given an example of this Pancake Swap. I could get on the internet, that's why I put it over here. Pancake Swap is some kind of cryptocurrency exchange platform, crypto token exchange platform. People now go for Pancake Swap website. Can you see the ad written over there? Paid advertisement, not real. People, fraudster, put ad over there, and Google AdSense put that on the top level. This is not the actual. This is the actual website, and ad is put on the top of the Google search engine. So you have to be very, very careful when you're dealing with certain website after you obtain that result from a search engine. Search engine do not know who the person of that, who the person who has put that website in the cyber domain. So please, the search engines use करते हैं आप. We have recently seen many frauds happening. पूरी में किसी को वैकेशन करने जाना है. For example, कोई पूरी का कोई something resort है. ABC resort search किया, पूरी नाम आया, Google का कार्ड खुलता है. Then they have numbers, everything there. Now this is the issue with the Google. These kind of cards can be publicly edited. Anybody can go on the web, and you can also go on the web and you can edit the detail. There are certain businesses which are not owned, which are not claimed by that business house. They can edit. You can also edit. Then they put their number over there. Then when as a user of that service, when you call that number, you believe that you are actually calling a genuine hotel, but you are not. Fraudster call कर रहे हैं, fraudster को आपसे पैसा मंगवा लेगा. जब 50,000, 70,000, 80,000 जब चला जाता है, then you realize कि अच्छा मेरा पैसा चला गया, then you come to police. Then again I told, एक पैसा चला जाता है, we have certain options, we will tell you later on, but लाने में difficulty होती है काफ़ी. हर टाइम पॉसिबल भी नहीं हो पाता है क्योंकि वो पैसों को इतना जगह लॉन्डर कर देते हैं, एक जगह लाना समस्या हो जाता है. कोर्ट का ऑर्डर बहुत कुछ चाहिए होता है, लीगल इश्यूज बहुत सारे आते हैं. तो सिंस आई हैव रेज्ड दिस इशू ओवर हियर इटसेल्फ, आई जस्ट मेंशन देयर इज हेल्पलाइन नंबर with 1930. You can write it down, 1930. That's a central government helpline number, and for West Bengal you will also connect it to a node sitting over here in West Bengal. There you can register a cyber fraud that has happened to you, where you have lost some kind of money, and automatically the detail that you provide over there, it goes transmitted to all the stakeholders like banks, UPI agencies and other agencies, and they try to block the transaction that has gone with your credit card. So 1930 is the first go-to service you can do when you have lost some money. Try registering a complaint over there. After that, you have, for any kind of cyber crime, you have National Crime Reporting Portal, cybercrime.gov.in करके website है. You can go there and you can just lodge your complaint over there. So be very, very sure about what you obtain as a result on a search engine. This is very prevalent. We have had a talk with Google also, and we told them, I personally had a talk with Google people, and they did not have any idea how to go about it. Then they had to tell, we will have to discuss it with the product team, we will have to discuss with the sales team, and maybe they're doing something about it now, but this is still prevalent. Please do not trust any resource that you get on the search engine, and trust means you can trust from the knowledge point of view, but do not go ahead with a monetary transaction on that data that you got from search engine. Next, please. Scam using QR code. Again, these are all the methods that are they lure you in paying some fraudulent money to some fraudster. एक बार आप फंस गए उसके phishing call से, then payment तो चाहिए उनको. Payment जाने के लिए आपको QR code बोलेंगे. सर आप पेमेंट ऐसे भी कर सकते हैं, हमारा NEFT नहीं है, हमारा ये नहीं है, हमारा वो नहीं है, आप QR कोड से पेमेंट करेंगे, आपको डिस्काउंट भी मिलेगा हमारा. देन दे सेंड यू अ QR कोड. QR कोड में वो रादर क्या होता है, मनी कुछ भी बना करके 10,000, 20,000, 1 लाख का बना करके आपको भेज देंगे QR कोड. यू स्कैन, यू डू नॉट नो हाउ मच मनी यू आर सेंडिंग, इट गेट सेंट. समटाइम्स इट ऑल्सो हैपेंस कि सर आपका अकाउंट मुझे पता नहीं है, मैं आपको भेज रहा हूँ QR कोड, यू विल रिसीव 10 रुपी, देन आफ्टर दैट वी विल सेंड यू दिस मनी. तो आप क्या करेंगे, QR कोड स्कैन करेंगे, 10 रुपये का आपको लगेगा हो रहा है, एंड रादर बिहाइंड दैट QR कोड ट्रांजैक्शन आप खुद रिसीव ना करके आप पैसा ट्रांसफर कर रहे होते हैं. तो दिस इज अगेन आई वुड लाइक टू हाईलाइट, एनी पेमेंट दैट यू डू विद अ QR कोड, with QR code scanning you cannot receive any payment. Keep it in mind. You can only send money using by scanning QR code. UPI का QR कोड जो था वो बोल रहा हूँ मैं. पैसा रिसीव किसी को करना है, काउ के टाका रिसीव करते हो है, you do not have to scan any QR code. Keep it in mind. All right. Next. Impersonation using social messenger or some kind of phone call, something of that sort. It has been happening again. They impersonate. People tend to think that their account has been hacked. It is not so. You can see the number over there. What they do, for example, somebody wants to impersonate me. They take my photograph from different social media profile and they put it over here. And then they message any of my subordinate or my relative or my friend. They get to know about my friend's details and my relatives' detail. Again, I'm highlighting exactly because of one reason. How did they get my photographs? from my social media profile, from my other profile on the internet. तो इसका मतलब क्या है कि हमें अपना प्रोफाइल को बहुत सिक्योर रखना है. Except my friends, nobody should be able to see my photographs or my identity. अब then they keep on messaging my friends. उनको पता कैसे लगा मेरे फ्रेंड कौन है, मेरे जूनियर्स कौन है. Again they know I am a DCP over here. तो इस कमिश्नरेट में पुलिस के और कौन कौन लोग हैं, they get to know that from the website, their numbers, then they will send a message using my photograph. It might not be there that they are using my number, but they have just put my picture over there. People might believe that I am genuinely messaging them and asking for some money, some kind of help. And out of compassion, people send money and later on get to know that they have been defrauded. So यहाँ पे दो सीख मिलती है हमको. फिर वही कि एक बार फ़ोन करके पूछ ले तो सही कौन आदमी है, क्या है, बताइए आप मेरे को, और वो आपको बहुत अर्जेंसी दिखाएंगे. हम मीटिंग में हैं, मेरे घर में एक्सीडेंट हो गया है, मैं बीमार हूँ. दिस इज अगेन प्लेइंग विद इमोशन ऑफ फियर एंड ग्रीड. मैं हर बार बोल रहा हूँ, एवरी टाइम यू जस्ट पुट इन द यार्डस्टिक ऑफ फियर एंड ग्रीड का इमोशन, देन यू एंड अप पेइंग देम मनी. उनको नंबर कहाँ से मिला? आपके फ्रेंड लिस्ट से. तो क्या करना है हमको सबसे पहले इस तरह की चीज़ों से बचने के पहले, बिफोर गोइंग एट विथ ट्रांजैक्शन, यू जस्ट कॉल दैट पर्सन अप, गेट टू नो दैट पर्सन. या आप अपना प्रोफाइल कभी पिक्चर ओपन मत रखिए, क्लोज योर प्रोफाइल. सोशल मीडिया पर जो भी प्रोफाइल है बच्चे जो भी यहाँ पे, आई आस्क देम प्लीज़ go to the security setting, privacy setting of your profile of every social media sites, Instagram, Facebook, anything. Go there and make your profile secure. Thirdly, do not make any friends who you do not know. How did they get to know our friends? आज कभी 10 साल पहले मेरी पार्टी में किसी मुलाकात हुई होगी रैंडमली. पहले ज़माने में क्या था, फेसबुक वाज काइंड ऑफ थिंग, जो भी फेसबुक से मिला रिक्वेस्ट फेसबुक फ्रेंड भेज दिया, एंड वी यूज टू फील प्राउड हाउ मेनी फ्रेंड्स यू हैव ऑन द फेसबुक. 5 फ्रेंड्स से बहुत खुश होते थे. हमारे पोस्ट पे कितने कमेंट आ रहे हैं, वी यूज टू वेरी हैप्पी बिकॉज द मोर फ्रेंड वी हैव द मोर कमेंट्स वी वुड बी हैविंग. बट आज 10 साल के बाद वो आदमी कहाँ है, वी डू नॉट नो. इफ ही हैज टर्न इनटू अ फ्रॉडस्टर और ही इज एडिंग सम फ्रॉडस्टर, देन इफ ही इज इन योर फ्रेंड लिस्ट, ही विल बी एबल टू सी ऑल योर फ्रेंड्स. Then he will individually go to those people and in your name maybe they can create a profile on the Facebook and then keep on messaging, मेरे को पैसे की ज़रूरत है प्लीज़ दो. अगर आपके पास 1000 अच्छे फ्रेंड हैं, 1000 फ्रेंड हैं, अगर उसमें 5 लोगों ने भी सुन लिया 50-50 रुपये देने का, तो जस्ट इमेजिन व्हाट अ डे ही हैड द फ्रॉडस्टर. तो यहाँ पे क्या सीखा, अपना प्रोफाइल सोशल मीडिया पे सिक्योर रखना, प्राइवेटली रखना, प्राइवेट करना है. डू नॉट बी फ्रेंड एनी वन हु यू डू नॉट नो पर्सनली. मेरे फेसबुक में खुद ही 200-300 लोग ही हैं. आई हैड 2000 लोग व्हेन आई वाज इन कॉलेज. नाउ स्टार्टेड अनफ्रेंडिंग एवरीवन whom I do not know now. जो मेरे रियल फ्रेंड है मैं उनको ही फ्रेंड रखता हूँ. पीपल कीप ऑन सेंडिंग में. मेरे प्रोफेशन ऐसा है कि a lot of people meet me and they just next day they send me the Facebook friend request. I do not accept the friend request. You are not my friend. All right, so please go ahead with that. And क्या होता है ना, खासकर फीमेल जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं उनके लिए बोलना चाहूँगा मैं कि व्हेन somebody gets into your profile, how they misuse your picture you do not know. उस पिक्चर को मॉर्फ करके आपको हैरास कर सकते हैं. दे कैन बुली यू, दे कैन एक्सटॉर्ट मनी आउट ऑफ यू. दैट इज आई एम टेलिंग अगेन एंड अगेन, आपका सोशल मीडिया प्रोफाइल जो है इट शुड बी वेरी वेरी सिक्योर so that you do not fall into trap of fraudster using these modus operandis. Next. Again, I think I have also recently got this message. That's why from my phone only I just captured it and put it over here. KBC lottery को लेके scheme आया था. I also got. Do not freak out. They sent me. I just kept it. All right, I do not have to reply. But you just see the numbers. People call the numbers and people are sitting on the other side of the number. अगर वो ऐसे number, and now मैं ये क्यों बोल रहा हूँ? I told you ना, do not keep on sharing your numbers randomly wherever you go. How did they get to know your number? How did they send you this thing? Because you only shared somewhere down the line in the past, एक साल पहले वो नंबर पर शेयर किया था कभी किसी के साथ में. वो नंबर कंपाइल होता है एक जगह पे, देन इट इज सोल्ड टू द फ्रॉडस्टर. सस्ते में बिकता है. अगर मैं चाहूँ तो यहाँ पे सिटी में आसपास मैं जानता हूँ ऐसे लोगों को, मतलब वी हैड कॉट बेसिकली रादर आई टेल कि आई आस्क देम कि मुझे CSC कस्टमर्स कितने हैं न्यू टाउन एरिया में, प्लीज़ प्रोवाइड मी नंबर्स. यू विल नॉट बिलीव, मेरे को 10,000 नंबर उसने 300 रुपये लेके दिया मेरे को. 10,000 नंबर. आई जस्ट ट्राई टू एक्सपेरिमेंट कि देखे तो सही नंबर कैसे लाते हैं ये लोग. एंड हाउ डिड आई गो, आई जस्ट पुट ऑन जस्ट डायल कि मेरे को ये नंबर चाहिए CSC का. द नंबर गोज थ्रू, देन सी फ्रॉडस्टर जो हैं जस्ट देर पे अपना अलर्ट लगा के रखते हैं, जो भी आदमी सर्च करेगा मेरे को अलर्ट आए. यू विल नॉट बिलीव आई स्टार्टेड गेटिंग अराउंड 50 कॉल्स अ डे. मतलब नॉट ऑब्वियसली नॉट माई जेन्युइन नंबर, आई यूज्ड अ फेक नंबर फॉर दैट एंड स्टार्टेड गेटिंग अ कॉल. सर मेरे पास. देन आई चोज वन ऑफ द ऑपरेटर एंड 3,000 रुपये देकर मैंने 10,000 नंबर खरीदा एंड आई स्टिल हैव दैट दोज नंबर्स एंड वी स्टार्टेड अ केस आफ्टर दैट. इट वाज माई क्यूरियोसिटी कि देखिए तो भाई कैसे होता है ये. तो अब वो 10,000 नंबर मिल गया, अब 10,000 को क्या करना है उसको, बस नंबर को व्हाट्सएप कर देना. 10,000 में अगर 5,000 भी नहीं 500 लोग भी चालू हो जाए मान लेंगे ऐसी बातों पे, जस्ट इमेजिन व्हाट फॉर्च्यून ही हैज़ बिल्ट दैट पर्सन. सो अगेन मैं पिछली बातें बता रहा था, रिलेट करना चाह रहा हूँ यहाँ पे. आई जस्ट वांटेड टू रिलेट. डू नॉट शेयर योर पर्सनल डिटेल नंबर्स विद एनी अननोन रैंडम पर्सन. मैक्स टू मैक्स क्या हो सकता है, व्हेन यू गो टू शॉपिंग मॉल समबडी आस्क यू सर आपको रिवॉर्ड पॉइंट मिलेगा, डिनाई द रिवॉर्ड पॉइंट. 100 रुपये का रिवॉर्ड पॉइंट मिलेगा और क्या होगा, बट एटलीस्ट यू विल बी सिक्योर. Please go next slide. Again, this is the same kind of thing I have been telling, but these are the incidents that have been reported, so that you get to know if you get some kind of these calls. Please do not respond. Again, Flipkart investment scam, something like that job scam. कि आप यहाँ पे login करें and इतना पैसा पे करेंगे, then you will be able to get a call for an interview or something of that sort. Do not believe blindly in all these advertisements. Go to the next slide. ये एक नया सिस्टम चालू हो रहा है जो मैंने बोला आपको, नंबर शेयर नहीं करना है. आप अपना डिटेल भी शेयर करते हैं मॉल में या कहीं भी जाते हैं, देन दे आस्क यू कि अपना एक आधार कार्ड डिटेल दे दीजिए मेरे को, फटाक से निकाल के दे देते हैं, ठीक है भाई मिल जाएगा एक ऑफ़र, या पैन कार्ड नंबर दे देते हैं उसको, वो व्हाट्सएप कर देते हैं किसी को. यू डू नॉट नो वो आधार कार्ड और पैन कार्ड नंबर लेके दे कैन क्रिएट अ फेक लोन डॉक्यूमेंट एंड दे कैन गेट अ लोन ऑन योर क्रेडेंशियल्स. And later on you get to know कि मेरे नाम पे एक लोन उठ गया. You cannot do anything about it. Later on पुलिस के पास आएंगे तो जो भी निदान होगा हो जाएगा. But I am telling you, your any credential, any data, any document that is attached to you, that is personalized to you, do not share that with any random person. Until unless you are 100% in the belief that this is the right person. अगर कोई बैंक वाले ऑफर करता है ना, रास्ते में घूमता रहता है, you ask them कि सर मैं बैंक चला जाऊँगा. Then you see the response that they give. Maybe somebody calls you from the SBI, then ask them कि मैं SBI जाके बात कर लूँगा. Then see the response that they tell you. And what are the parameters? How do you identify कैसे कौन लोग होते हैं? एक तो सबसे पहले ट्रू कॉलर में स्पैम दिखता है, आजकल बहुत लोग यूज़ करते हैं ट्रू कॉलर. Normally banks and reputed institutions जो होते हैं, they do not call from their mobile numbers. They call from their landline numbers, and their landline numbers are difficult to procure by a fraudster. तो प्लीज़ ऐसे पैरामीटर्स को ध्यान में रखें. जब मुझे एक लैंडलाइन नंबर से कॉल नहीं आया, ऐसा नहीं है लैंडलाइन नंबर से कॉल का मतलब एकदम जेन्युइन, डबली चेक, एटलीस्ट एक लेवल तो पास हो गया. सो प्लीज गो टू द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. अगेन दिस इज अ फेक यूपीआई नंबर. आधार कार्ड बोलेंगे आपको कि सर हमारा ऑफर है एंड आप अगर मेरे अकाउंट में डायरेक्टली पे कर देंगे तो आपको 20% डिस्काउंट मिलेगा. वो हमारा कार्ड नहीं काम कर रहा है, हमारा अकाउंट ऑफिशियल अकाउंट काम नहीं कर रहा है. देन यू पे इनटू दैट अमाउंट, देन यू गेट टू नो दैट इज अ पर्सनल अकाउंट ऑफ फ्रॉडस्टर एंड यू हैव ट्रांसफर्ड द मनी and you have nothing to do. So ऐसे अकाउंट्स में जब भी कोई फाइनेंशियल ट्रांजेक्शन डील करें, do not directly debit money in the account of the person who you do not know. Next slide. Fake website. I have just put a 2 screenshot of the website. Flipkart and Facebook का दिख रहा होगा. ऊपर नाम देखेंगे, ऊपर एक बार जूम करेंगे वहाँ पे, ऊपर ब्लू एरो जो वहाँ पे है ऊपर. एक तो यहाँ देखिए, यहाँ भी देखिए, यहाँ जूम करें, यहाँ भी जो URL में जस्ट सी, और जूम करें. It is not Facebook over here. It is something random string of character written over here. But you end up believing that it's a Facebook website. Anybody can easily clone the Facebook website, and you enter the credential over here. Your credentials are gone to those person. मतलब वहाँ चला गया क्रेडेंशियल, देन आपका क्रेडेंशियल का यूज़ कर सकते हैं. मे बी वो क्रेडेंशियल आपका किसी और वेबसाइट पे सेम पासवर्ड रखते हैं हम लोग, फिर वो क्या करेगा, रैंडम जगह पे 20 जगह पे ट्राई करेगा सेम पासवर्ड, फिर सेम यूजर नेम से, ही विल गेट इनटू एनी ऑफ योर अकाउंट. नीचे फ्लिपकार्ट का भी सेम था, आईडी कुछ और था, बट यू सी हाउ वंडरफुल इट इज रिटन, सेल लाइव 95% डिस्काउंट, एंड यू अगेन ग्रीड. वहाँ भी वो ग्रीड या कुछ भी नहीं है, किसी कारण से किया होगा तो लोगों ने, लेकिन यहाँ ग्रीड दिख रहा है साफ साफ. जस्ट यूज दोज पैरामीटर्स, ग्रीड एंड फियर. नेक्स्ट. Acha, this is again one of the new trend that we have seen, that is malicious app installation से क्या होता है, एक लोन ऐप का नाम सुना होगा आप लोगों ने, लोन ऐप्स फ्रॉड हो रहे थे बहुत सारे, चाइनीज लोन ऐप फ्रॉड. What they do, you join a lot of Telegram group, जॉब चाहिए या कोई लॉटरी खेलना है या ऐसा कुछ जहाँ से easy money making होता है, you join a lot of Telegram group, WhatsApp group, and people keep on posting a lot of links, lot of APK files over there. And when you install these apps, they claim you, they ask that they will be handing over very cheap money, 3,000 रुपये 4,000 रुपये का money होता है. You install that app, you actually get 3,000 रुपये 4,000 रुपये अपने account में. Then they charge huge amount of interest out of that. When you do not pay, then they extort you. They morph your pictures. And how do they morph your pictures? जो उनका ऐप इंस्टॉल किया था हम लोगों ने ना, आराम से ऐप इंस्टॉल करने के बाद एक्सेप्ट पे क्लिक कर देते हैं. वी ऑलवेज कीप ऑन क्लिकिंग एक्सेप्ट व्हेन यू इंस्टॉल एनी ऐप. बट एक्सेप्ट के पीछे क्या क्या कंडीशंस है वी डू नॉट सी. ऑब्वियसली जो गूगल वेरीफाइड ऐप्स होते हैं उनका अलग बात है, बट यू रैंडमली इफ यू आर इंस्टॉलिंग सर्टेन ऐप्स, एक्सेप्ट करने से क्या हो रहा है, यू आर गिविंग एक्सेस ऑफ ऑल योर कॉन्टैक्ट्स, all your photographs to the fraudster. Again, I'll tell you from a personal experience, we had investigated one such case, and when you caught that person down, he had a portal rather, he had a dashboard, and he had a list of all the people who have installed that app in their mobile phone. आपका नाम था, आप क्लिक करेंगे आपका प्रोफाइल खुल जाएगा. His contacts, his pictures, his everything. आपके कॉन्टैक्ट पे जाएगा, सबको चूज करेगा, send them the message. He can directly in a bulk manner, he can send the message to the persons. We did it in Nepal, and from there we got some person, then we got to know of this kind of dashboard also. So that way it is very easy for them to keep a track of all your data. So please do not install such apps, any malicious app, and खासकर लोन ऐप जो है वो कदम भी इंस्टॉल नहीं करना है, चीप लोन जो ऑफर करते हैं. नेक्स्ट. So this should have been my first slide, but I deliberately put that in the last so that you can relate कि किस टाइप के क्राइम होते हैं. आइडेंटिटी थेफ्ट एक हो गया, जो क्रेडेंशियल हार्वेस्टिंग करते हैं फिशिंग वेबसाइट यूज़ करके, फिशिंग अटैक, इलीगल कंटेंट, ऑब्वियसली कुछ ऐसे कंटेंट होते हैं जो विच इज़ नॉट डन, विच इज़ नॉट राइट टू शेयर ऑन द इंटरनेट, यू शुड नॉट गो अहेड विद दैट. सोशल इंजीनियरिंग अटैक, सेम फिशिंग लिंक भेज करके आपको बेवकूफ़ बनाना. साइबर स्टॉकिंग, सेम आपका प्रोफाइल ओपन रहेगा, वहाँ पे जाकर तंग करना, वहाँ मैसेज करना, आपका प्रोफाइल में पोक करते रहना, ये काम करते हैं. Potentially unwanted programs, they are the apps, any free games you install on the computer, your computer get compromised. Botnets fall in the same category, जहाँ पे कुछ malicious app install हो गया, computer botnet बन जाते हैं. So I just wanted कि जितना मैंने बोला इन सब में आ जाता है बार बार सब कुछ. This encompasses everything that I discussed, and whatever I have discussed is not the end. फिर evolution होगा, फिर नई चीज़ आएंगी. It keeps on happening. तो बचते कैसे रहना है हमको, सिर्फ एक ही चीज़, एक यार्डस्टिक बताया मैंने, फियर एंड ग्रीड का. थोड़ा कस सह लेंगे अगर डरा रहे हैं, अगर हमको लालच दे रहे हैं तो लालच थोड़ा कम कर लेंगे, लेकिन बच के रहेंगे इंटरनेट पे. थैंक यू.
That was really an informative and extensive PowerPoint presentation, power-packed PowerPoint presentation, if I might say. Thank you so much for that. Well, my students were telling us that for phishing attacks, usually their parents are more affected. So this was also a learning experience for our faculties sitting here and people of especially our generation. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. We have been joined by IPS Indira Mukherjee, DCP Traffic. We would, of course, ask her, she would be giving the deliberation on road safety, but Madam, we would take this opportunity to felicitate you. If you could please come up on stage, I would request our HR Director, Ina Bose, and our Registrar Sir to please, Professor Shumon Chatterjee to please come up on stage and felicitate IPS Mukherjee. A big round of applause, please. Thank you so much for being here.
ম্যাডাম ইন্দিরা মুখার্জি, আইপিএস ডিসিপি ট্রাফিক, এবার তার প্রেজেন্টেশন নিয়ে আসবেন রোড সেফটির ওপর। এই রোড সেফটি ইস্যুটা আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি আমাদের স্টেজেই রয়েছে, আমাদের গভর্নমেন্ট অফ ওয়েস্ট বেঙ্গলের সেফ ড্রাইভ সেফ লাইফ পোস্টারটিও আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি। স্পেশালি ফর স্টুডেন্টস, দোজ হু আর অলওয়েজ ইন ভেরি হারি, এবং আজকাল যেটা প্রবলেম হয়েছে যে ওই একটা সবসময় হেডফোন, ব্লুটুথ বা বিভিন্ন টাইপের হেডফোন নিয়ে ঘোরাঘুরি করা, যেগুলো খুব কমন ইস্যুস। ম্যাডাম মুখার্জি নিশ্চয়ই ডেলিভারেট করবেন সেই সময় ইস্যুর ওপর। প্লিজ ওয়েলকাম ম্যাম মুখার্জি।
Hello, audible? Edible? I have taken the liberty of using a cordless mic because I find very restricted when I speak from a podium. Before I speak, my sincere apologies, I was late. I was in another event, and sadly I missed the valuable speech of my colleagues. I could obviously hear to what Praveen was saying, and now I realize why I keep on getting calls from Kuchina every day asking me to buy modular kitchen. And every day I get a call from a bank, SBI, and they will say, please take a personal loan. I can see it is a mobile number. It is not. Now I realize. Thank you so much for that. I have been told that the crowd that I have at my disposal, it comprises of the members of faculty and the students. Anybody else, ma'am? Right. Members of the faculty, right. So this question is only for the students. Now, I can't really see the exact distribution, how many guys are there, how many girls are there. But guys, can you please raise your hands? Okay, fine. Girls, can you raise your hands? Okay, so I have more or less 60-40 I can make out. So this question is, how many of you know how to ride a bike or a scooty? That's really good, okay. So how many of you actually started riding a bike or a scooty before you turned 18? Okay, so all of you have a driving license, do you? And are you brave enough to accept that you don't? Okay, right. My presentation is very short, but then I will be showing some videos and asking some questions as well. So first, I would like to begin with a question, okay? So I will play a particular video. It is my assumption that all of you have definitely seen this particular place. It's a video where one of my officers is performing traffic duty. I'm not sure whether we have audio or not. Just excuse it's a bit loud. Just cover your ears if you can. I want you to identify this particular place. Please don't spill the beans. Just raise your hands. I will come to you. Okay, play. I can see hands. Okay, fine, I'll go to you. I can see many hands, but I think I saw you wearing blazer. Yes, I'll come to you. Okay, I'll come to you. What place is this?
Chingri-Ghatta.
Excellent, this is actually Chingri-Ghatta. Very good, very good. Thank you so much. I think all of you knew it is Chingri-Ghatta, right? Right, fine. Next. So you know, those who you are in college, you must have heard of these acronyms, 3 C's, 3 D's, discipline, dedication, determination, commitment, etc., etc. You must have heard of this, mostly in management classes, etc., when you prepare for your campus interviews. So since I'm in traffic, we have something called 3 E's of traffic. So anybody has any idea what these 3 E's might be? Take a wild guess. Wild guess. Something, the first thing, because we are in a college. So what can the first E be? Yes, excellent.
Education.
Okay, next. Someone just told me that the first E is education. Is it education? Excellent. Bang on, it is education. So when we say education, obviously, from traffic perspective, it means few things. Next. I'm sure all of you, not only in Newtown, but from wherever places you belong to, you must have seen, traffic department conducts rallies and we have awareness programs. I'm not sure whether we have done anyone for SNU students or not, but roughly you must have seen. Our signature campaign is Safe Drive, Safe Life, and it started, it's almost 4-5 years, but we have rallies. Very recently, we did a program with the Zomato drivers. You must have seen them all around Newtown, and specifically speaking during the COVID times, they have really worked very hard. So this is something that we call as education, and I will also show you 2 small clippings, because we feel no matter how much we try to educate, there are certain things that will always go wrong. Not all accidents can be prevented. There are certain things, certain accidents which are very unfortunate. No matter how many men you have on roads, and no matter how many gadgets, CCTVs, etc. you have, ultimately there are unfortunate accidents. We will see 2 small clippings on this. The first video. Watch very closely. See the cyclist. Just lost balance. Done with. This is very close to, this is Eco Park, as you can see, Eco Park gate number 1, 23rd of April, 2022. It was not per se his mistake. It was not really the mistake of the truck driver, but then the accident just happened. No control over it. The second one. There was nothing you could do. Many of you, even I as a schoolgirl, many times when I was in a hurry, I have tried doing this. I tried crossing the road. Obviously, somehow I maneuvered. But then this is something that we see day in and day out. When you go back today to any schoolgirl, schoolboy, or even college goers you meet, please tell them to at least, wait for the signal and cross only through zebra crossing. Otherwise, there can be a situation like this. So, okay, that was the first E. Okay, any guesses for the second E? Okay, ethics is 1. Emergency, that is the new upcoming E. Okay. Engineering. Excellent. Okay, my traffic inspector wants to answer. Dismissed. Okay. Oh, acha. Okay, fine. We'll come to that. Next, okay, my PA will tell me what is the next E. Enforcement. Now, people are wondering what exactly is enforcement. So, how many of you are above the age of 18, you have a valid license, and you have been challaned by any traffic officer on road? Okay, someone is brave, has raised their hands, he has got a challan. Excellent. So, next. So, enforcement is something that, when you violate any traffic law and you are being caught. So, if you violate and you're not caught, then it's all right. But then if you're caught, then ultimately you get a challan. I will not get into the specifics, but I will take this opportunity of sharing with you what exactly is the fine structure. I can see there are people who are taking pictures on their cell phone. Sir, it is available on the net. You can definitely go through it. But the important thing is, there has been a recent change in the fine structure. So, for example, if you drive dangerously, previously it was only, say, 400 to 1,000 rupees. It varied. But now, it is 5,000. So, if you are taking part in any race, which I have been told some of the people who have bikes try to do it on the roads of main arterial road, okay, and new town per se. So initially it was 500 rupees, but now it is 5,000. And pollution fail. You've heard of this term, right? Pollution fail hoyeche. Okay, so pollution fail used to be 750. Now it is, can you see at the back? 10,000 rupees. 10,000. Please remember this. Okay, if you do not allow any emergency vehicle to pass, fire, police, etc., it used to be 100, now it is 10,000. Using mobile phone, how many of you do that while driving? Nobody will raise their hands. Fine, probably you used to do it, it was only 100 rupees, now it is 500. I will share with you 5 more sections. So if you drive your vehicle without a driving license, it used to be 500, now it is 5,000. So please ensure, I know there is someone who raised his hand, sharing with us that he still doesn't have a driving license and is still riding his bike. Please do a test, go to the RTO and get your driving license. Below the age of 18, used to be 500, now it is 5,000. Allowing others to drive without proper driving license, used to be 500, now 5,000. No entry violation, no entry te dhuke gache. Must have heard of this. Again, it is now 2,000. And if you are driving in a state of inebriety, it is nothing less than 10,000. It was 2,000, but it is now 10,000. So you can see, after the revision of the Motor Vehicles Act, the fine structure has actually gone up. And it is a huge burden for a normal person to pay a fine, which is say 5,000 or 10,000 rupees. So that essentially talks about enforcement as to what the traffic department does in case we have someone who is violating the traffic rules. And I think ma'am here, wearing a red shawl, you mentioned that the third E or the second E is essentially engineering. And let me tell you, you're absolutely right. The third E that we have in traffic is essentially engineering. Can someone from the back tell me what engineering can it actually mean? How is traffic related to engineering? If you can raise your hand and give me 1 point. Okay. You mentioned ethics, right? Did you? Okay, tell me, what do you think about engineering?
Engineering is
Engineering in traffic.
engineering in traffic, police.
Okay, we are the police, fine. Okay, any other hands? Okay, I'll come to you, definitely. Who raised hands? Okay.
Speed traps and CCTVs, like.
Okay, CCTVs, that is very good. See some examples of what exactly might cause. Okay, I have another hand.
Barricades and dividers.
Excellent, barricades and divider. Can we just see some examples of engineering in traffic? Okay, who has crossed this particular place today? Oh, so many of you. Oh, you actually did. Okay, what is it called? What is it called? No, it is not Bisho Bangla, but what is it exactly? It is an underpass. This is a road engineering related initiative. So initially, there was no underpass. So you had to wait at the Narkil Bagan signal and you had to wait for it to turn from red to green. But if you're going straight, if you're coming to your college, you can use the underpass and come straight. Do we have any other examples? Who has been to this particular place? Can you raise your hands? Oh, all of you have been here. Okay, what place is this? Okay, someone says Sri Bhumi, someone said Clock Tower. But what is the thing that you have on your right? It is a subway. Again, it is a road engineering related initiative. There used to be no subway in this particular area. But I'm sure all of you who had been to the Sri Bhumi Puja, you must have availed this particular subway when you were crossing from Calcutta bound to airport bound. Okay? let us see some more examples. Okay, you know, entire Newtown, we have a cycling track. And as we speak here, NKD is actually organizing a cycling awareness rally. Okay, so we have this pavement. You must have seen this particular, you know, I would say this is a topiary on G20. It is right next to Bisha Bangla, and it was done during the G20 delegation when they had come over. So can you see the freshly painted the pavement red and black? Correction, white and black. So ensuring even, you know, if the bottom left picture, it is something that we call and refer as road marking. So from time to time, you will see that, you know, the white paint that we have on the road, it is getting faded out. And it is our work, and obviously the work of the municipalities or the corporation, to ensure that these are painted freshly from time to time, so that in the night time, there is no visibility related issues. And who can identify that place? Bottom right. Sir, I saw your hand.
Is it Alia University?
It is Alia University. Okay, so very recently, we installed some bumpers in front of Alia University. And we have installed several such bumpers in and around Newtown and VIP Road as well. Obviously, this is a long stretch of very beautiful road, unhindered, and it gives access to, you know, my young friends who love riding their bikes and scooties and try to pick up some speed. So we ensure that you are not at a disadvantage and you basically have safe roads, okay? So these are basically the 3 E's of traffic. But before I end, there is something that I want to show you. How many of you went to the Kolkata International Book Fair last week? All of you? We have seen the stall of SNU. I think you were the media partners, if I'm not mistaken. I could see many of you, you know, with mic coming to CP sir and then trying to, you know, get his comment on the events that were being conducted. And let me also tell you that we from West Bengal Police also had a stall very close to gate number 6. And Honorable DG and IGP sir, Manoj Malviya IPS, was very kind enough to come over. And as a part of the Road Safety Week, he gave away helmets, he gave away fluorescent jackets. We also felicitated many of the ambulance drivers, because you must have heard that many of them faced some accidents in the vicinity. So it was kind of an awareness program for them. And next, this is the traffic yearbook of Bidhannagar City Police, which was inaugurated by Honorable Chief Minister on day 1 of the Calcutta International Book Fair. And here CP sir is handing over a copy of that yearbook to Honorable DG and IGP sir. So before I end, just one small video for you. I know there are many amongst us who find speed very endearing. And because we just heard a beautiful talk on cyber safety from my fellow friend Praveen, there are many of us who use Facebook and they upload videos on Instagram. But we came across a person who had a high-end bike, and he always had the habit of, you know, riding at 160, 70, 80 on the roads of Newtown. And once we could manage to catch hold of him, and we challenged him, and we tried to, you know, talk to him as to what is this fascination that you have with your bike, why do you keep on overspeeding, and why do you upload those videos on Instagram? And then he said that I'm an influencer. Okay, so because he was an influencer, so there were many, he had many followers. If I'm not mistaken, he had 5,000, 10,000 followers. So most of his friends who saw his videos, they also started purchasing nice high-end by Honda Highness, Java, XYZ. It's a rich fellow. And then they also started, it was a group of people who indulge in kind of bike racing. And later, we tried to speak, and we told him this is not the way forward. Because one day, you must have seen on the BRO roads, speed thrills, but kills. Yes, so speed thrills, but kills. So this is a short one-minute video as to what he has to say regarding his role and how there was a role reversal after the intervention of Bidhannagar Traffic Department. Please play the video.
সেদিন বেপরোয়া, আজ সাবধানী। কলকাতার বুকে একদিন তার বাইকের দুরন্ত গতি ঝড় তুলত। আজ সেই বাইকারই সেফ ড্রাইভ সেফ লাইফের অন্যতম মুখ, পার্ক স্ট্রিটের মোহাম্মদ শাকিব। কলকাতার ব্যস্ত রাস্তা, তার মধ্যে বেপরোয়া গতিতে ছুটছে বাইক। কখনো ঘন্টা 120 কিলোমিটার, কখনো 130, কখনো তারও বেশি। বাইকে বসে হাওয়ার সঙ্গে কথা, গতির নেশা। হাই স্পিডের নেশা ছিল পার্ক স্ট্রিটের মোহাম্মদ শাকিবের। রেড রোড, মাউরালপুল, বিশ্ব বাংলা সরণি, ইকো পার্কের রাস্তায় তার বেপরোয়া গতির ছবি সোশ্যাল মিডিয়ায় ভাইরাল। ভিডিও নজরে আসে বিধাননগর পুলিশ কমিশনারেটের। শাকিবকে ডেকে পাঠিয়ে শুরু হয় কাউন্সেলিং। একটা সময় গতি শ্লথ হয়। সেদিনের বেপরোয়া শাকিব আজ সাবধানী, এক অন্য মানুষ। শাকিব আজ সেফ ড্রাইভ সেভ লাইফের অনুষ্ঠানের অন্যতম মুখ। বৃহস্পতিবার নিউ টাউন বিশ্ব বাংলা গেটে বিধাননগর কমিশনারেটের অনুষ্ঠানের উদ্বোধনও করেন।
तो मुझे जब समझ में आया तो ऐसा फील हुआ कि नहीं, जो मैं कर रहा था वो गलत था। सो आई हैव टू चेंज। मुझे बहुत कोई फॉलो करते हैं, तो उससे क्या है कि सारे लोग भी इन्फ्लुएंस हो रहे थे, तो वो भी गलत था। तो उसके वजह से मैं चेंज होने का कोशिश कर रहा हूँ और मैं चेंज होकर दिखाऊंगा।
Youth has been changed because of SDSL initiative. It is a behavioral change initiative, and we are very proud that it is one of the most successful initiative of the country.
শাকিবকে সামনে রেখে আরো অনেককে শাকিবের মতোই সচেতন করতে চাইছে বিধাননগর ট্রাফিক পুলিশ। লক্ষ্য একটাই, সেফ ড্রাইভ সেভ লাইফ মন্ত্রে দুর্ঘটনার হাত থেকে বাঁচানো। নিউ টাউন থেকে অনুপ চক্রবর্তী, নিউজ 18 বাংলা।
Okay, so you see, influencing. That brings me to the end of my talk on traffic. I hope those who did not really have much idea about what exactly the traffic department does, you will at least have a vague idea. This is the entire traffic team, CP sir, my ACPs, obviously I'm there, and my traffic inspector, TI New Town and my ACP, they are very much present in this particular audience. Thank you so much for your time and giving a patient listening. Thank you so much to the members of the faculty. Thank you.
ওয়েল শাকিবের স্টোরিটা দেখে আমার মনে হলো ছোটবেলায় সব থেকে দুষ্টু ছেলেটাকে মনিটর করে দেওয়া হতো ক্লাসে, সামথিং লাইক দ্যাট। আ ওয়ান্ডারফুল ইনিশিয়েটিভ, আ বিগ রাউন্ড অফ অ্যাপ্লজ ফর দ্যাট প্লিজ, টেরিফিক। And Madam, Atto lucid bhab in such simplified terms, she explained to us the traffic rules. I'm sure we have students, I'm sure you'll have the new vigor to follow traffic rules from now. Thank you so much for that very entertaining, informative session, ma'am.
Now we will be having our next presentation, women's safety. Very important issue in all the time, nowadays also, and especially for our girl students. So I would like to invite on stage J. Mercy, IPS, DCP Airport, to talk on women's safety. Welcome, ma'am.
Good morning, all. My friends, Bidhannagar Police Commissionerate, all my DCs have spoken very entertainingly, and they have shown you videos also. But my topic, I think it will be very boring. But I'm telling you, this is related to women's safety. It's awareness to the men who are gathered here. So you people are going to face what are the laws against if it is any woman facing any security issue in the country. India always ahead of human resources. Men and women are having equal opportunities in the country. But if come to women's safety, it's always behind in the world. As a developing country, we have a lot of legislation which will keep women in a safe place and secure place to come up with all the development along with the man. So this is a list of some of the laws in India which will help women to come up above and equal with the man. This is first one is Dowry Prohibition Act. Everyone know, all the married man and women who are here, they know about this one. Then again, Immoral Trafficking Act, that is very much prevalent in Eastern India, especially Bengal and other northeastern states. But we have, West Bengal police have very good efficient anti-human trafficking unit. They have done n number of successful cases. I remember last year, I have given one speech in National Crime Control Bureau, New Delhi. They have praised our West Bengal CID work. That girl has been recovered from our airport, that is NSCBA airport. So I have given the, related to that case, I have given speech in National Crime Records Bureau, New Delhi. They have praised the West Bengal work. So in that way, we are ahead of this anti-human trafficking initiative in Bengal. This is against Domestic Violence Act, especially in North Chobis Parganas, that Domestic Violence Act related NGO and government houses are more. They have given time giving counseling to the who are coming to the PS with the domestic violence related issues. Then again, Hindu Marriage Act, eve-teasing also we have a strong law in IPC. Then National Commission for Women, in Delhi is very active, and time to time we used to receive a lot of petitions, and we used to do all the petition related issues, and we have to give clarification time to time to them. That's it. Next. This is, I want to give some awareness related to some legal points we have, that is privileges the women have in India. That is like nobody can arrest you. No, I mean nobody can means enforcement agency can arrest you after 6 o'clock. Then again, if you go to police station for registering any cases, your physical presence is not needed. You can send a petition, or you can call them, and you can via email you can give a complaint. And zero FIR concept is started only for women's safety. Like if any place you can go and lodge a complaint, and that complaint will be treated as zero FIR, and the place of occurrence that will be transferred later on. Next. Then again, I don't want to say that's a rape or something. If it is any harassment against you, that no one can deny you, any law enforcement agencies or medical agency can't deny anything, not giving any support to you. Okay, next. This actually I want to teach only the men or guys in the auditorium, because see, if you are treating the woman equal and in respectable way, no harassment will happen in the road. So I want to teach, this slide is only for male member of this auditorium. Please read that one. You can, it's a self-explaining thing. That is what is the punishment also. That too I want to say this one. Vidhannagar police has an initiative of giving charge sheet within 4-5 days record time. This if it is come to this type of sections related to sexual harassment or sexual violence, POCSO, and we are giving. We are giving record time charge sheet, and we are having in Vidhannagar Bidhanagar, we are having fast track court, and you will be ended up in the jail within a few months. So be careful and don't harass me. This is a warning for you all. Next. This is already explained by Praveen Prakash in his cybercrime this PPT. This stalking had happened in physical form in the roads and buses and everywhere. But even in the social media, in cyber-related stalking also will be there. Like they will enter into your Instagram account and they will give you the bad comments and they will take out your photos and they will morphing you and they will harass you in this way. This is also punishable under IPC. Next. This is domestic violence, or we have a separate section in IPC to deal with that. If your husband or your family members are they are giving any physical, mental or cruelty over you, physical abuse, that will comes under this Domestic Violence Act. Next. This is all the who are working women has to go to office and they have to face many problems in the office also. Even harassment and stalking also continue, not only in the road, not only physical harassment in the house, even in the office they have to face. In that as per Supreme Court guidelines, every office should have the internal complaint committee. This is very important because each and every office, if it is a private or a public office, should have the internal complaint committee headed by the woman officer. If anything happen inside the office, you can go and openly complain them, and that will be proper action will be taken against them. Next. This is for married woman right to maintenance. If something happen, if the family, if it is a toxic relationship, you can come out from that relationship and you can get maintenance from the husband or your family. From them, you can get the maintenance also. Next. This is maternity benefit for all the female who are working. That is government to government, even central government, each and every state government vary from 6 months to 9 months. This again, what is stalking and the punishment for that one. Next. E-teasing. Next. Voyeurism. If someone is taking video of you while you are sitting in the bus or when you are walking, if it is any unwanted things has been photographed or videographed, you can anytime complain against them, because it is also punishment is Indian Penal Code is giving punishment for them 3 to 7 years. This is sexual harassment. Always, every time, each and every day, each and every hour, all women are facing in this country. Next. These above, whatever the previous slides I have discussed, what government has taken the initiative, what the law enforcement agencies are doing. This is, what is your role in this? See, if something happened to you, don't afraid of anything happen to you people. So just you be aware of your rights. Whatever I have told in the previous slide, you should know that you have the right to complain, right to get justice, right to go to any police station to complain against whatever happened to you. So then help others also. If someone is in trouble, you people who know the laws and rules, you should help the others also. Next. This is a special initiative by the Bidhanagar Police Commissionerate Already I have informed you, we have we have set up one good initiative that all the sexual harassment, sexual related issues and POCSO cases, we have giving charge sheet within record time of 5 to 7 days, and we have separate helpline numbers for WhatsApp numbers also. We have control room. They time to time they are giving information to all the police station if they come to any information to the control room. And we are having for control the eve teasing, especially this Newtown area. We are having lot many IT related sectors. So in the evening, we are having a special winners team. This is only with scooter. We are having only female police personnel. They are doing rounds. It's a patrolling type thing. Even the empty area of Eco Park area, I have a lot of empty places. There also we have the only exclusive lady teams for patrolling in the evening and the early morning. That is a very good initiative of Bidhannagar Police Commissionerate. Then Bidhannagar Court and Barasat Court are having fast track courts to especially deal with all the women related issues. Other government agencies like law enforcement agencies, they are helping police also to give fast and speedy justice to the women related issues and for children also. I thank you one and all for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for that presentation. As she said, it's just not addressed to women, but also to the men, because, you know, sometimes women are the victims and sometimes men are the victims. So the entire, you know, the harassment thing that she shared in her slide was, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. It was really, I hope, a true lesson to be learned.
Now we have come to the final portion of our presentation session. We will be privileged to have Mr. Gaurav Sharma, IPS, Commissioner of Police Bidhannagar, on stage for his presentation, special presentation. Please welcome Mr. Gaurav Sharma.
He, of course, does not require any introduction, but I would have to say this, that, well, his social media presence, he's not much into social media, but people follow him like mad. And all our students here are such great fans of him. They all follow him, whatever he does. So thank you, sir, for being with us today and addressing our students.
Okay. Thank you, Oindrila and Shaukat. Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Suman Chatterjee, Registrar, Senior Director, Techno India Group. Ms. Ina Bose, HR Director. Shri R.T. Goswami, Director, Techno International College. Ms. Meenal Parikh, the Dean. All the faculty members. My colleagues, the young officers who have given the briefing. Bishwajit was here, DCDD. J. Mercy, Indira, Praveen, Charu had left. Charu has left, she had a flight to catch. All the young students who are here, a very good afternoon to all of you. It's a, you know, it's with a lot of humility I can say it's a privilege to be a CP, but at the same time sometimes it becomes a challenge also. But when you have to speak after so many bright students or bright officers, I'll say, they literally spoke like the masters in the subjects, and I'm sure you also had a very enjoyable experience listening to all of them. I do not know how much value I can add to this interaction. I am not carrying any presentation. I just came here. So what I'll do is I'll try to touch the topics in a very philosophical way, one by one, in the way they came. So I'll start with drugs, because I guess Charu started with drugs, a very insightful presentation, talk she had on drugs. So, you know, we were living a very happy life. Life was going very smooth on this earth. And we had fought the First World War. India was enjoying the legacy of hemp, cannabis, we call it very nicely. And things were very smooth. Some, you know, like India had hemp. If you had heard very carefully, Sanjay Dutt somewhere in his speech mentioned peyote. Peyote.
So peyote is the name of cactus plant. So somewhere in Mexico, some tribe, the Aztecs, they were called historically, they were on peyote. Then, some localized drug consumption was being made using some local plants and all that. And something very interesting happened. What happened? Manhattan Project. Have you heard about Manhattan Project? Nobody has heard about Manhattan Project? Indra, not you. Yes. What was the Manhattan Project? Oh, come on, it changed the world. Manhattan Project. Atom bomb was made. So Robert Oppenheimer was literally in the forefront of translating the theory of making an atom bomb into practice. And in this period of 1942 to 45, we had something very phenomenal come into being. But at that time, very quietly, one gentleman was sitting in Switzerland. His name was Albert Hofmann. He was a chemist. He was working for a company called Sandoz. And he was tasked with, studying the fungi, the fungus of ergo plant. Ergo plant, this ergo fungi, you've heard about this? It causes ergotism in individuals. This basically grows on rye plant. My mistake over there. So he was tasked to study this ergo fungi, and he was supposed to create a compound which would assist women after childbirth. He was supposed to create a medicine out of it. So he created a lot of compounds, and there was a 25th compound. They were feeding one compound to the other, as used to be the practice at that time, to the animals. So it was fed to the mice. Mice started behaving erratically. They could not understand what the hell is this. Why to bother about such a thing? They stacked it somewhere in a corner, and suddenly after 5 years, the research was going on. Suddenly after 5 years, Albert Hofmann thought that there was something in that compound. I should go back and look at it. So he takes out that 25th compound, synthesizes it more, studies it more, and accidentally through his finger, he consumes a bit of it, and he has a very different experience. And then he decides that, okay, I need to study it more. And as it used to be with the scientists during the Renaissance era and thereafter, they used to consume it themselves. They used to conduct most of the experiments on themselves. If you read about the scientific research during the period of Renaissance and thereafter, I'm telling you, you'll find those researchers, those doctors, or those people more brave hearts than any of the soldiers on the road. They would even conduct experiments about heart surgeries on their own heart while they are alive. They would do that. Anyways, so Albert Hofmann was doing this, this whole study, and he takes out 250 milligrams of this compound and he consumes it. And this compound, after that, he writes a very beautiful diary about his experience with this thing. And this compound was popularly later on known as LSD-25, LSD, lysergic diethylamide acid. We popularly call it acid. Now this thing, why I brought this thing, why I started with this thing was because it changed the course of the entire drug consumption in the world, because until then the drugs were organic. This was the first drug which was synthesized in a lab, and this was the first inorganic drug which came into being, although I'll just tell you later on that it is factually a little incorrect. So after this experience, because at that time there was no law about consumption of drugs, so it became a public commodity. People started consuming it on the roads. There was a very famous counterculture. We popularly, used to know it as what? Hippie culture. You remember that hippie culture? This was the LSD culture. This was born out of this LSD consumption. And as we used to have it, we were very democratic, open, freedom-oriented. Why not people have drugs if they can, if they get that feeling of ecstasy, freedom, happiness, and all that? But something was happening again. A Vietnam War was going on during the whole of the 60s, a half part of the 70s. And American government suddenly found that, no, we are not getting soldiers to fight the war. Almost everybody has gone into this counterculture, and now their main propaganda is to, raise a voice against the war. And the youth is, completely consumed by LSD. So they decide to ban LSD. That was the first time LSD was declared as a Schedule I drug in America. And that is where, the first time in history, the movement against banning the drugs come into being. In India, it came much later, much later. In 1984, we introduced these Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act in our country. When it was a part of the whole convention, world convention, that these drugs need to be banned everywhere. So these compounds, LSD, then we have MDMA. Have you heard about MDMA? Have you heard about amphetamines? MDMA? Methyl dioxymethamphetamine. They are again a category of drugs. Charu explained it in detail. There are hallucinogens, there are stimulants, there are depressants, but they have a very interesting impact. All these drugs initially were thought to go in medical research in psychiatry. You have morphine. Morphine is understood to be one of the most powerful painkillers. But what did morphine ultimately give us? What did morphine give us? Which drug? Any takers? Any takers of the question, not morphine. Okay, so morphine ultimately gave us heroin, right? It is made from the opioids, the same opioids from which morphine comes. Similarly, cocoa plant gave us coffee, but it also gave us cocaine. We were talking about mushrooms. So there's a very popular drug which comes from mushrooms. It's called psilocybin. It's not available in all the mushrooms, so don't try to go and eat those white mushrooms outside. They are very specific brown mushrooms. You do not get that drug from everywhere. Similarly, peyote cactus. Cactus plant is very specific to South America, from where we got a drug called mescaline. And then we have a lot of derivatives. We had a lot of adulterations. This trade flourished over a period of time. A lot of world conventions were made over this. A lot of concerted effort went into it all over the world to make sure that we are able to somehow rope in this menace of drugs everywhere, especially because of certain bigger cartels which have control over the economy which is involved in it. There are two aspects to it. Of course, there is one, the production, the manufacturing, I should say the market from where we can procure the drugs, and secondly are the consumers. Now, if I tell you cocaine is harmful for health, you'll agree, right? If I tell you cigarette is harmful for health, you'll agree. But why then cigarette is sold in the market, right? So we also need awareness. We need a generation, because when we prohibit something, there are mafias which flourish. They procure them illegally. They will make any compounds of heroin, any compounds of cocaine. We do not know what the content is, how it is being used. It will get, pilfered out in the market. They'll grow those mushrooms somewhere. They'll grow that cactus somewhere. They'll grow the rye plant somewhere. And they have a set of, very expert people who are working all the time because there is a demand in the market. So A, when either you are, on one way trying to kill the supply, and B, you are also trying to kill the demand. The sad part is, from all my experience in the job I've been seeing, the youngsters are drawn, we as individuals are drawn into one kind of intoxication or the other. So while, can you just put it down? I'm okay with one kind of intoxication or the other. So, at one point of time, I remember I was with one of my colleagues, a very junior one. He was sitting there and we were watching a TV. He was sitting on the floor with me in my house and we were talking, and there was this thing, an advertisement about on cigarette smoking. So he asked this question to me. I told him, he is a smoker. So I said, band kore to mere jabe nito ek din. And he said that, sir, apni ekta kotha bolun to, eke to bole ki khele mere jabe tale ban hi kore dicche na cigarette ke keno. It's a very valid question. If something is so dangerous that it does not come with a rider, why don't you even ban it? As a matter of fact, you will be surprised. Charu told you that on top of the addiction index is heroin. She didn't tell you that the third one is cigarette. Alcohol comes much low. So, this particular thing which is so dangerous, but then there are certain government policies all over the world by the conventions by which we go, we allow certain things to be in the market based upon certain configurations by which they are made or under controlled circumstances in which they are made. And certain things are totally, outrightly dangerous for us. For example, I'll tell you, you might ask, what is the science behind it? What is the science? So, I think roughly Charu touched about dopamine. that it. So basically, what happens is we have if you know a good psychiatrist, he'll tell you that happiness in every individual is a sum total of mainly 4 hormones. So I'm sure many of you might be knowing the names of the hormones. Can you list them? Number 1, anybody? It's not a happiness hormone. It's a subsidiary hormone which is secreted on the activity of amygdala. So the first hormone is very simple. सुबह दौड़ते हो क्या होता है? Exercise करने से endorphins is one hormone. Second is oxytocin. Oxytocin is a hormone produced by the mother during the childbirth, which creates the motherly affection for the child. The third hormone is serotonin. Serotonin is a hormone which controls our behavior, our diet, our sleep patterns, our level of happiness or the level of connect we feel with the people. Usually the people who are under severe depression, they are very low on serotonin. So unko, they are given on serotonin drugs to keep them balanced. And serotonin is produced in the brain nerve cells, in the spinal cord nerve cells. It is also produced in the intestinal nerve cells. So if you have an upset stomach, you feel very irritated. Precisely the reason is because the serotonin level is very low in your body. And the last is the dopamine. Now dopamine again is, and they are all form of neurotransmitters. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter. Again, dopamine acts as a neurotransmitter. Dopamine is popularly known as the reward hormone. So when if you are a student, you will feel that there is a different euphoria of coming first in the class. So whatever target you set, whatever happiness you get out of it, or maybe if you're an athlete, you will feel a different kick in coming first in a run, or maybe a very difficult task you accomplish, which you could not. A very rudimentary thing is giving a 2-minute speech for which you were nervous, and you completed and you came back and you feel very good. This is a reward hormone. So dopamine is the reward hormone. Now what happens is with these drugs, initially we were talking about dependence, bodily dependence on them. So what happens is these drugs start interfering with the secretion of serotonin and dopamine, mainly dopamine. Now our brain, what is the average weight of the brain? Can anybody tell me? Brain average weight 12 kilo, 250 gram. Nobody? Oh, come on, you're all college students. It's somewhere, roughly around 1.4 to 1.5 kilograms. Starts from 1300 grams, goes up to 1800 grams also, depending on your size. So now your maybe 70 kg body or 80 kg body is being controlled, or maybe 50 kg body is being controlled by this 1.5 kilograms of gray matter. So basically, whatever functions you are performing, or whatever, whatever consciousness you are having, is basically your brain is controlling it. Now, what happens is your brain is run by these hormones, the happiness section of the brain. Your responses, your peace and everything is run by these hormones. So when acid became very popular and they were proponents of acid, LSD I'm talking about, they said people should feel connected. They have every right to feel happy. Same thing happened in 80s when MDMA came. They said that people need to feel happy, they need to go out. But again, there is a restricted quantity of everything which should be under medical use, medical supervision. You cannot just have it off the counter and have as much कि मैं 1 glass दूध पिया तो मैं strong हो गया, तो मैं 5 glass पीऊँगा तो मैं 5 times strong हो जाऊँगा. It doesn't go like this. So this is a problem which comes with drug abuse, uncontrolled, consumption or unsupervised consumption of any commodity. So now what happens is the brain has certain neural pathways in which you function. So all of you, like Indira said that you people ride a bike. Most of you can ride a bike, two-wheeler. Bike चलाना जानते हो? Okay. Scooty चलाना जानते हो आप लोग? So you remember the first day when you were learning to drive a bike. How was that day? How conscious you were? कि मुझे ब्रेक कहाँ दबाना है, स्टीयरिंग सीधा करना है, I have to pick up the acceleration, I have to stop. And come to this day when you are riding a bike on the road, even subconsciously you are riding the bike on the road. You're not even thinking about riding the bike. You don't even know when you overtook somebody or when somebody overtook you. You didn't even realize when you gave way to a car, or you stopped on one side, or you halted on the signal. Your brain has built neural pathways. The brain has built a particular way of these neurons. They keep realigning themselves. Your brain keeps, reconnecting with its own parts, and these are the neurotransmitters which play a major role in it. So what happens is, when you keep repeating a particular activity, your brain tends to understand कि यही करना है, इसी से अच्छा लगेगा. So if you keep consuming drugs, or if you are a smoker, you keep consuming smoking cigarettes, or if you are an alcoholic, you keep consuming alcohol, your brain is continuously learning daily that this is the thing which is giving me happiness. What is happiness? Dopamine, the reward. I have done something, so I should feel happy. The serotonin. This will. So now gradually your entire activity, your entire happiness will start depending on these things, because this is what brain has learned. ये मिलेगा तो खुशी मिलेगी. आसमान को देख के खुशी नहीं मिलती है, बारिश को देख के भी खुशी नहीं मिलती है, अपने बच्चे को हाथ लगा के अपने माँ बाप को देख के भी खुशी नहीं मिल रही है. अभी पूरा का पूरा हैप्पीनेस इन 4 चीज़ों में चला गया है. इस ड्रग्स में चला गया, सिगरेट में चला गया, अल्कोहल में चला गया. ये 2 तो अच्छा लगेगा. यू विल सी पीपल हु गो ऑन, दे विल स्पेंड thousands of rupees, go on a holiday, and the first thing they want to do is have a drink, क्योंकि खुशी मिल ही नहीं रही. They are not able to connect with nature. They went to the most exotic place, maybe a Switzerland or a Darjeeling or Kashmir, and the first thing they want landing over this, यार इसको enjoy करने के लिए ड्रिंक चाहिए. शादी में घुस गए, पूरा सज धज के गए, लाखों का ज्वेलरी पहन लिया, जब कपड़ा पहन लिया, एक्सपेंसिव वॉचेस पहन लिया. You have best of your relatives over there. You can sit and chat, but first thing you want is, यार दारू पिलाओ तो. This is the attitude. Why? Because your neural pathways have learned this thing now. Happiness is this, and this is where you are ruining yourself. Then what Sanjay Dutt said, that I want to be high on my work, I want to be high, because he wants the dopamine from that. He doesn't want dopamine from this thing. He doesn't want, to be dependent on certain set of drugs कि इसी से खुशी मिलेगी, उसके बाद कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. Trust me, life is it's a marathon race. ये नहीं है कि आज कर लिया कल खत्म हो जाएगा. Once you are dependent on it, trust me, brain is such a thing. You are subconsciously making it, and you are subconsciously breaking it. You cannot consciously train your brain in an easy way, maybe over a long period of time. आप धीरे धीरे उसको जो आते सिखा रहे हो वो सीख रहा है, और उसको छोड़ने भी उतना ही टाइम लगाएगा, और maybe double than that. So what happens is, there's dopamine production in all these gentlemen who are who are drug addicts. It is taken over by these drugs. Now have you heard about withdrawal symptoms? Have you seen somebody in withdrawal? Trust me, you don't want to see somebody in withdrawal. It's a very bad phase. Now what has happened is, suddenly, by not giving drugs to the person, his serotonin and dopamine level has fallen down in the body. Suddenly, you cannot relate because you people are not drug addicts, but suddenly that person is not happy. And when you are not happy, which part of the brain takes over? Can you tell me which part of the brain takes over when you are not happy? Okay, it's a very small bean-shaped organ. It's called amygdala. Amygdala is a small part of the brain which controls your responses for anxiety. जो आपने बोला था, the fight and flight gland के लिए, that hormone is secreted on the functioning of amygdala. Now, what happens is, amygdala is the organ of anxiety. The more active amygdala is in your body, the more anxious, paranoid, under pain, under stress you are, and you can do anything. People tend to commit suicide, they cut their nerves, they can kill you, they want something, because when you are anxious, I'm talking about extreme cases of anxiety. When you are under extreme anxiety, even people go through seizures and convulsions, they want to do anything to get out of it. They have to do anything to get out of it. Now what is happening is, amygdala has taken over, and there is a portion of the brain called prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex job is it's the rational part of the brain. वो आपको लॉजिकल चीज़ें सिखा रहा है कि भैया ये आदमी लंबा है, ये छोटा है, ये चीज़ अच्छी है, ये खराब है. Now your rationality has gone for a toss. You do not see your mother as your mother, or your wife as a wife, or your girlfriend as a girlfriend, or your boyfriend as a boyfriend. You are ready to kill anybody to get drugs. Your rationality has completely gone for a toss. So either of two can be active, either your rationality or amygdala. What happens is, gradually, by through the process of rehabilitation, staying away from drugs, of course the body is such a beautiful thing created by God. It can until unless something which goes really wrong, it can realign itself. So your liver can come back, your brain can learn to create new neural pathways and everything, but it will take time. it will take a period of suffering. So it is always better to what? Stay away from drugs. And not only that, you stay away from drugs, you also educate other people to stay away from drugs in your families and the surrounding. The worst part is, especially in the college goers and the students I see is, dost ek pudiya kha ke aa gaya, koi baat nahi, chalo theek hai, hota hai. Matlab, it's a fad. It's not a fad, trust me. I'm telling you, your life is not about those 21 to 31 years of age you will be, going around. Iske baad bhi chalega, bahut lamba chalega, aur aap log phase rahoge isme. So it is better to stay away from drugs. So while the law enforcement is dealing with scuttling the supply of drugs, we are dealing with these drug mafias, we are dealing with, these criminals, the manufacturing and sale of these things. We also want awareness. We want a youth which knows that we have to say no to drugs. We don't want drugs. I mean, I'm not going to be a customer. Sanjay Dutt learned it the hard way. Let us learn by the experience of people like Sanjay Dutt and many more. I mean, just because his video was shown, I'm just quoting him. But let us try to learn from the experience of many more people and let us go rationally by science. You cannot control it once it starts. So it is better to stay away from it. There are many things. Zindagi mein sab kuch bana, bahut kuch hai. We are 8 billion on this big earth and there are phenomenally number of things which are available around us. We don't have to do everything. We have to do only what is needed for living our own life happily and joyously. The second topic was regarding cyber safety. Praveen was very elaborate when he was talking about cyber safety. You see, we are really in the middle of a cyber revolution. I'll say we are almost completed with the cyber revolution because when your criminals, they start using these portals, they start using a particular science for extracting, when they can prevail over the innocent people, the gullible people, and fool them into parting with their property, into parting with their belongings or anything, then you can say that yes, this science has really taken off. A person who is class 5 or class 10 pass and he is running a fancy call center, and the children who have never even spoken a word of English and they suddenly talk in fancy accents and they are able to fool people in different countries who do not even belong to the race and anything, and then through technology they are able to take off money. You can really believe that we are in the middle of a complete and very successful cyber revolution. Now, accept it or not, this is going to be the way of life. You get up in the morning, अपना phone देखते हुए, आप रात को सोते हो अपना phone देते हुए. चार्ल्स बैबेज 1822 में पहला कंप्यूटर बनाया था, उसको नहीं पता था कि आज ये होने वाला है. But again, in every society, we have all kinds of people. Presentation does not mean to tell you that everybody is a criminal and everything around you is a crime. Presentation needs to just warn you. Presentation needs to tell you that you have to be careful. So I think somebody in the middle just pointed out that most of our children, they say that their parents are cheated. Okay, you pointed out. Okay. Why? So if I tell you, let us go on road and walk recklessly. ऐसे चलते हैं, चलो बीच में चलते सड़क के, कभी इधर घुस जाएंगे, कभी उधर घुस जाएंगे, कुछ भी कर लेंगे, कहीं भी रुक के गाड़ी रोक के बात करना शुरू कर देंगे. What are the chances that I will meet with an accident? Pretty bright. I mean, like, accident will take a shine to it. Okay, fine, let's get this guy. So this from childhood, because the only way I could avoid the road of if my parents could afford a chopper and drop me everywhere, otherwise I have to take the road to go everywhere. And for that, road safety from the beginning, through social mechanisms, through individual mechanisms, through schooling, it has been cultivated in my mind, in everybody's mind. So while all of your parents might be gullible on social media or with cyber frauds, they are very, very careful with road safety. सड़क पर उनका एक्सीडेंट नहीं होता है क्योंकि उन्होंने भी बचपन से रोड सेफ्टी देखी है. They have gradually grown with this. This cyber revolution has come somewhere in the middle. We also see that most of the people who are the victims of cyber frauds are people of age. As a matter of fact, in international call centers which we have got, I'll say 80% of the victims are people of age, either upper middle age or very senior old people. Charu used to make me hear audio conversations of a cyber fraudster sitting in around this place and making a call in UK, and this poor old woman for a good long 15 minutes, how she convinces her to part with her money. And there will be one or the other reasons. As Praveen pointed out, there's going to be either some kind of greed or there will be some kind of a fear. But what is important is caution. We are not telling you to go off cyberspace. We are not telling you कि अपना Facebook account बंद कर दो, Instagram बंद कर दो. No, you cannot. We cannot be an ostrich. By plucking your head in the mud, you cannot say problem solve हो गया. We have to stand and face the problem. So how to face the problem is to be cautious. The way you are cautious with road safety, you have to be cautious with the cyber safety. Cyber criminals keep evolving. Even, very recently, I had put on my Facebook page, I had put a note that this is my only account and I do not operate any other account. And next day, a prominent newspaper came out with a story that CP Bidhannagar fell prey to cyber crooks. And then the whole city is asking me wherever I go, sir, आपका account hack हो गया, आपका account हो गया. मैंने कहा, for heaven's sake, मेरा account hack नहीं हुआ है. My account is where it was. I said, this is the only account I operate. I do not operate any other account. What were they doing? Impersonation. Use my picture, create an account. Now, I have a public profile. It is very difficult for me not to have my picture on social media. From even pictures of this function might be posted over social media, either through SNU or through some other portal or through our portal. So it is very difficult for us not to have our pictures. But what is needed is awareness in people. What is needed is awareness in people not to be, it is okay to interact with X so long as X does not ask for my private information or X does not ask for my money. It is okay to make a friend on social media so long as that friend is not asking you to, मुझे थोड़ा सा अपना private picture दिखाओ ना. It should ring the bell. ये क्यों भाई? For what? Why should I give you my private pictures? And who are you? Even if I know you, still who are you? Why should I share your pictures? But there are gullible children वो अपना वो pictures भी दिखा देता है. Forget about clicking the link. There are fraudsters who are writing reviews, fake reviews, and making sure, and they write thousands of reviews so that their link is on the top of the Google search, which Praveen was showing you. They'll write reviews and make sure that it is on the top of the Google search. They are devising new mechanisms, but there are safeguards in the system. The only thing is you have to exercise them. How many of you operate internet banking account? Excellent. How many of you have two-factor authentication over there? How many of you don't have two-factor authentication over there? And when I talk about two-factor authentication, it is not only for the access to the account, but for every transaction also. तो भैया मैं अपना OTP क्यों दूँ? I was told to download AnyDesk. I download AnyDesk. Sir, उसके ऊपर एक कोड आएगा दिया है. मैं कोड क्यों दूँ भाई? Why should I give you the code? You should know my code. I get calls, random calls. सर हम SBI से बोल रहे हैं सर, आपका सर वो आपका वो क्या होता है, वो नहीं हुआ है, KYC नहीं हुआ. मैं कोई बात नहीं, कर देंगे, जाओ अकाउंट बंद कर दो, कर देंगे. I have so many times wrongly entered my password and blocked my account for 2 days. तो एक दिन अकाउंट भी बंद रहेगा, क्या चला जाएगा? He's right. Don't do it. Don't fall prey. I know people who belong to very sound, educated backgrounds, and suddenly, this person comes to me and says कि सर इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कनेक्शन का सर 10 लाख रुपया चला गया मेरे अकाउंट से. तो मैंने कहा भैया ये बताओ कि रात को 9 बजे कौन इलेक्ट्रिसिटी वाला तुमको मैसेज करेगा कि हम बंद करने आ रहे हैं? Have you heard anywhere? I have not heard. They give you time. They will charge penalties, but they will not disconnect your electricity so easily. They will give you sufficient warnings. they घर पे आके मतलब they will make your life hell and then disconnect your electricity. Still people, सर मैसेज आया मैंने कर दिया. Where is the child? सर एक गूगल में काम करता है, एक हार्वर्ड में है. What you said, gullible parents. They have this ingrained system. They have grown with this technology. They know कि क्या accept करना है, क्या नहीं करना है, किसको yes बोलना है, किसको no बोलना है. Poor parents. They are losing money, and these cyber fraudsters are flourishing only because they can see this older generation which is very, I'll say, scared of cyber world. In a way, they feel very inhibited. They don't want to go there, or they don't want to take risks on the cyber world. So my advice to all of you is, be very careful, be very cautious, and now things have become very easy. So there is अभी तक क्या होता था, आपको साइबर क्राइम हुआ, आप लोकल थाना में जाते थे, लोकल थाना पहले ढूंढो कहाँ पे है, ठीक है. सो यू वेस्टेड 15-20 मिनट्स और मे बी हाफ एन आवर. पहले तो आदमी 5 घंटा ये दिमाग लगाता कि थाना जाऊँ कि नहीं जाऊँ, इट्स सच अ बैड प्लेस, ठीक. तो आपने 20 लोगों से एडवाइस ली कि नहीं चले जाओ, कुछ नहीं होगा, देयर आर नो डीमन सिटिंग ओवर देयर, कोई खाएगा नहीं आपको, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा झगड़ा ही करेगा ना, कोई बात नहीं, GD करके आ जाना. फिर आप पहुँच जाते हो, आप थाना पहुँचते हो तो थाना बोलता है साइबर थाना का मामला है, तो अब साइबर थाना का फिर हम उसको ढूंढने निकलते हैं. सो दिस टेक्स अनदर 1 day एडवेंचर. साइबर थाना में पहुंचते पहुंचते जीडी होते होते पता चला आपके 10, 12 और मे बी 24 hours are gone. And but cyber world does not operate like this. He took a microsecond to take your money, and in another few seconds the money will be gone forever. So what you have to do is, now there is an opportunity. There is something called Cyber Crime Reporting Portal, NCRP. You will just type cyber crime NCRP, cyber crime reporting portal. Now you can report it directly to the account. So what NCRP does is, NCRP is a national portal which is governed by the central government, RBI, or it is an interlinkage of all the banks. So once you enter a particular code of a transaction and it is entered there, वो पैसा किस किस account में गया है, वो सारे accounts automatic freeze में चले जाएंगे. The only efficiency of the system lies is कि वो पैसा withdraw होने से पहले पहले आप अगर कर दोगे, so this money will be reverted back. We can not only freeze this money, we will revert it back. I think how many विश्वजीत कितना करोड़ हमने दिया है? 4.5 crores we have from Vidhannagar police in last 1 year we have brought back to the people. Why? Because of this quick response. This 4.5 crore would become 45 crores if people start doing this NCRP thing घर बैठे बैठे. फट से कर लो. फ्रॉड किसी के साथ भी हो सकता है, पॉकेट मेरी भी को मार सकता है, बट आई शुड नो व्हाट टू डू रादर देन. बहुत सारे लोग देखा वो तो मजे में निकल जाते, चलो छोड़ो हो गया, मारो गोली, क्या करना है. यू नो, वी कॉट अ स्नैचिंग गैंग इन सॉल्ट लेक अ फ्यू डेज बैक एंड वी कॉट हिम फॉर स्नैचिंग वन एट वन प्लेस एंड ही कन्फेस्ड टू, क्योंकि दूसरा आदमी का पुराना नोकिया फोन था, वो स्नैच करवा के चला भी गया. ही थॉट कि क्या यार, अब 1200 रुपए के फोन के लिए थाना में जाऊंगा, रिपोर्ट करूंगा. बट व्हाट वी डू बाय डूइंग दिस इज encourage crime. So you must report quickly. NCRP में report कीजिए and then go to the cyber crime police station. How many of you know where is cyber crime police station in Vidhannagar? कहाँ पे भैया? Karunamai housing estate में. See, it is very important to know your police stations. I'm telling you, I have around 13 police stations, 13-15 police stations, and the busiest police station in today's date is cyber crime police station. Gone are those days when the thieves will break into your house and they will steal money, they will put you on gunpoint, knife. They know police is everywhere, kahin pakde jayenge. There's a lot of risk involved. I can sit at home. I need certain gadgets, a good internet connection, a fancy accent, and a voice of conviction. I can connect with you. I can connect with them. They are smarter than, they're the best psychiatrists. They can connect with you immediately. In a conversation of 1 or 2 minutes, they know कि इनको कहाँ पकड़ना है. I'll tell you, we have come across people where literally old people, some very old lady has started treating the guy as a her son. बेटा है, ठीक. They start connecting with you, and you start parting with your money. So once they, it's sit in a very secure place away, and the transaction is routed through many servers. यहाँ से मतलब कॉल ओरिजिनेट हुई झारखंड से, जंप हुई दुबई से, वहाँ से एक सर्वर से जंप होती पहुँच गई स्वीडन से जंप होके गया हांगकांग से जंप होके यहाँ आया. So you keep searching, you keep writing, तब तक पैसा कहाँ का कहाँ चला जाएगा, and where the fraudster will be. So my thing is that and what now, since it has become very easy. This is the most common form of white collar crime. Although we are also raiding, I think in Vidhannagar Commissioner in the last 6 months only we have raided more than 40 call centers, illegal call centers, and we have arrested more than 800 people in this. But my point is, we also want your cooperation. We want people to say no. Don't pick up calls. Don't pick up unknown calls. You don't want a loan. Trust me. You don't want a loan on phone. You want a loan, you will go to the bank. You don't want a क्या कहते हैं, discount on phone. You really don't want a gift voucher on phone. चाहिए जाके ले लेना. I am a kind of a person who goes to a Spencer account and says card बनेगा, वो नहीं बनेगा, नहीं चाहिए. This data has value. This data is sold in the market. So first, every fraudster will make a team, and this fancy team is called a call center. Now what they need is, they will adopt a modus operandi. So modus operandi, let us say, is we'll be selling something like loans. We'll be selling loans at a very cheaper interest rates and a longer period of payments. Okay, so then we need a data of the people who have been seeking loans. So there are various sites where people log in, and this data is bought by them. Then they talk to. Then there is a team of youngsters. जो tier 1 filtering होता है, वो उससे filter करके those who say yes, then it goes to the senior team. The senior team team will then talk to you, convince you, and transact and take all your money. Cyber fraud is prevalent, is all around, but how many of you have been affected by cyber fraud? How many of you? 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest all? You all are in cyberspace. Because somewhere, subconsciously, you are using those safeguards which are there in your mind. You are somewhere learning to, सबको वो calls आ रहा है, you know, you are getting those calls for loan ले लीजिए, ये कर लीजिए, वो कर लीजिए, आपका tower बिठा देंगे, whatever it is. But somewhere you have those safeguards in you. My request is even the 4 people who are gullible, they should also come into this fold and give these safeguards. Everything, you know, it's a basic principle of economy of demand and supply. Let us kill the demand. Supply will automatically die. That is the purpose of whole awareness. The next topic was regarding road safety. Indra elaborated. I think that was a very, in a very, very friendly way she interacted with you and talked about road safety. Last year, 1,55,662 people died in road accidents in India. That's not the figure. The figure is 59.7% people died of overspeeding. I am not still discussing the data, how many of them were overspeeding due to drunk driving. Intoxication and overspeeding are still the biggest killers in road accidents. Alcohol, depressant. What does a depressant do? What does a depressant do? Anybody? How does it not work properly? Depressant basically depresses the activity of the central nervous system. What do you mean by depressing the activity of the central nervous system? That the neurotransmitters which are communicating between the nerve cells have become slow. Motor nerves, yes, they become slow. So this neural pathways in the brain are communicating very slowly. Like stimulants, they start communicating very fast. So you'll see people, very euphoric. Suddenly, MDMA is considered to be a very strong stimulant. So it used to be a party drug. इसको popularly बोलते थे हम. What is called MDMA popularly called? Can anybody tell me what is the popular name of MDMA? Sorry, I'm forgetting the popular name of this drug. So it was a party drug basically, and it will give you a sudden euphoria. You are dancing, so chalta hi ja raha hai. So they are communicating very fast. Similarly, this is slow. Now, but the point is, after drinking alcohol, your neural pathways, हमको नहीं पता चला, it's a very subconscious process. You think I'm all right. If you ask most of the drunk drivers, they say, अरे कुछ नहीं सर, आप चिंता मत करो, हम बड़े गाड़ी चला के ले जाएंगे. आप जहाँ बोलोगे वहाँ पहुँच जाएंगे. मुझे तो कभी कुछ होता ही नहीं है. The pet response of every alcohol consumer is कि मुझे तो कभी कुछ होता ही नहीं, मुझे चढ़ती नहीं है. I am very immune to this alcohol. I am literally just ये भगवान है, उसके नीचे मैं हूँ, बाकी सब यहाँ पे है. This is their pet response. And by depressing the activity of the stimulant, your central nervous system, they are increasing your reaction time. Now, when you are driving on the road, your reaction time is in fractions of a second. It is like, batting on a cricket pitch and facing Shoaib Akhtar. कि आपके पास बस इतना सा टाइम बचा है, इतने में अगर आप बॉल को जज कर गए तो कर गए, नहीं तो नहीं हुआ. And most of it comes by practice. So you'll see expert batsmen, they practice a lot. And most of the time you ask him, तूने shot कैसे खेला? उसको नहीं पता कैसे खेल दिया मैंने. We'll say, sir, practice से आ गया. This is a neuromuscular response, I did it. Similarly, when you're driving the vehicle also, your neuromuscular responses learned through a long period of exposure of driving make a lot of difference. But this depressant, which increases your reaction time, it messes up with those neuromuscular responses. So it is our duty to keep our brain functional, not towards ourselves, to others. These 1,55,000 people who died, even if I factor in 10,000 family deaths also, almost 1,40,000 families are there who lost their loved one in an accident, a family member in an accident, which is a great loss. And trust me, I am not comparing it with loss with cancer deaths or with deaths due to heart attacks or something. They are because of the natural causes. This is an accident. This is an accident which can scuttle your life. So therefore, it is very important for us to be very, very careful on the road, follow the road rules, and definitely keep yourself sober and within the speed limit. Trust me, nothing will happen to you. Most of the vehicles are still driving on the road. You know, lakhs of crores of people are on the road right now. They're very safe. The only reason is they are following traffic laws, and one odd person who is there, who slips out with extreme practices, he is the one who is suffering. And lastly, it is women's safety. Now, you see, how many of you know that where is a women police station in Vidhannagar Commissionerate? I have this question directly to women, not to you. तुम पूरा मैप पढ़ के आए हो क्या? अच्छा, okay. So how many of you know? How many of the women know where is the women police station in Vidhannagar? सोचो, आप ही के लिए बना था. It is for women. Mercy has, tried to impress upon the point that there are a lot of legal provisions which safeguard the interest of women everywhere they are, whether they are in the workplaces or outside, for voyeurism, stalking, looking in a bad way, making bad remarks, to molestation, rapes, marital rapes, rapes under the custody of any home, police person, hospital authority. There are everywhere the interest of women have been safeguarded, whether it is a domestic violence or everywhere. But what is the point if we don't use it? What is the point if still somebody is suppressed in the house and she's quietly, she's not retaliating? What is the point if somebody is walking on the road and, you're going through a lewd remark every day and you don't respond because you are scared? What are you scared for? क्या होता है इसके बाद? मैं कंप्लेंट करूंगी, मेरे पेरेंट्स, मेरी फैमिली की रेपुटेशन, उसके बाद पुलिस का हरासमेंट, कोर्ट का हरासमेंट. वो दामिनी मूवी देखी थी, she has to go through so much. We have come off a long way from there. We have come off a long way. So when Mercy was trying, I don't know how many of you heard very clearly, she was telling you your privileges. You cannot be arrested in the night. A police person cannot just summon you to the police station and examine you. He has to come to your house or a place where you agree that he will come and talk to you, and that too in the presence of a lady police personnel. Aapka, in case of any rape, molestation, and especially in the case of minor girls, your identity cannot be disclosed in public. Trust me, in the case of minor girls, we cannot even write the names of the girls in our own departmental documents also. And we cannot even give any kind of a detail by which there is an indication to the fact that this might be the girl. फलाने गांव की फलानी ब्राह्मण गर्ल, लड़की 12 साल की, जिनके पिताजी खेती का काम करते हैं या जिनके पिताजी वो फैक्ट्री में दरबान का काम करते हैं. I cannot give this indication. This is illegal. I cannot take anybody to that girl so that she is harassed. Why was this done? To empower you. Empowerment क्या होती है? पेपर में नहीं होती है. Empowerment यहाँ होती है दिमाग में. So unless you feel that you have to stand up to all these things, all kinds of harassments, there is no point in creating this infrastructure. But trust me, we have come a long way with this also. We have a women police station, we have women helplines. The most important and radical change I will tell you where we have come across is the police response to the women problems. It has radicalized. It has changed. I don't know if you noticed or not, or how many of you, out of the 5 speakers today on the stage, 3 were women. Can we hear a clap? This kind of empowerment, this kind of thing which we want, people to come forward and claim their right, their authority in the society, their rightful position in the society. It has no bounds to it. We are at different levels of development. We are at development. All societies are at different level of progress. But the objective is to keep progressing, and not as a society as a whole, as individually also. You cannot claim to be a utopian society if somebody somewhere is harassed, some lady is being kicked for dowry, somebody is being forced into abortion, somebody is not being allowed to go out for work. This kind of distinction should not be there. It should be equal for everybody. Equal opportunities, equal places, no workplace harassments, and there will be aberrations, but treat them very, very strongly as per law and speak up. That is the whole objective of this exercise. So while the sum total of this entire thing was that I will not take more of your time, it is already 5 minutes to 2. The sum total of this whole exercise was, these are the 4 critical topics. One more topic which is very dear to me, but we did not feel the need of discussing it over because you're all grown-ups, is child safety also. So these are some of the more important topics on which we love to come and talk with students everywhere. You are the the future, the generation which will change the world, which is going to come forward and create all impact. When I'm talking about change the world, I'm not saying that to change the world you need to be a Albert Einstein or some great man only. Even with your small things, you can make a lot of difference to at least the people who are around you. So our objective was to come forward and discuss these issues with you, but more importantly, I personally feel that law enforcement is a very, very important part of any society. As my colleagues know that everywhere I go, the first thing I request every mother, father, parent or the future parents is, please don't teach your children ki badmashi mat karo nahi to police pakad ke le jayegi. So you are, that is at the initial stage you are creating a very wrong stereotype of police. Most of the stereotype has been come through movies or through such kind of things. How many of you have had a personal interaction with police? Keep the lawyer guy. Personal interaction with police. How many of you had a bad experience with police? Bad. One. More? Four. Okay. How many of you had a personal interaction, bad experience in a hospital? And how many of you have had a bad experience in a railway station with railway authorities? And how many of you have had a bad experience with electricity office? In your own college? See, there are many hands. But because nobody makes a movie on railways, harassing people, or nobody makes a movie on electricity office harassing people. It's a decadal movie. But every other day you will find a movie with a policeman polishing his, mustaches with a loose shirt and standing, hey, tumko maar dega. Aisa nahi hota hai. We are so bound by law, we cannot do all this thing, and we are so much in public glare. We cannot afford to be ill-mannered anywhere. Aberrations are everywhere. That is the point which I am trying to put across. अच्छे बुरे लोग हर organization में होते हैं. But that does not mean that बुरा लोग is the representative part of the organization. You have, good people also. Try to look at them through a different kind of a different filter, so that you can have a correct image understanding about the department. And we, in our organization, we are so used to dealing with criminals. We are so used to dealing with people who are aberrating the law, who are violating the law all the time. And then the sad part of our organization is we are one of the very few organizations who can curtail the liberties of people. We live in a binary life, 0 or 1. किसी को खुश करने के लिए किसी को परेशान हमको करना ही पड़ेगा. So we have to choose. When we choose law, there is somebody who will get affected. Even if I stop a criminal in the middle of the road who is running and stealing, वो भी कहानी बना लेगा. सर मैंने चोरा नहीं था सर, ऐसे आ गया था मेरे पास में. I still have to put him behind the bars. I'm curtailing his liberty. गाली तो वो देगा ही. So we also in our interactions we become a little rough, a little a little not so polished. But then at the same time, we don't mean wrong to people. That is why, you don't get challaned illegally, randomly, every day, 10 times. Or maybe, there's a policeman, you'll see every crossing beating people. Kuch nahi hota aisa. We are a very legal organization, and that's what I want to impress, that for any issues, come to us. We have come here so that, we can impress upon this point that, like everybody in the flesh and blood, we are also just like you. Come to us, we are as human. We also have our families, our people there. We understand your emotions, your issues. We have also been students. We have also seen teachers. We have also come through the same life. We understand your problems and we try to solve them as much as possible. Yes, many of the times people feel that police has a solution for all the problems. No, we don't. There is a particular set of laws under which we function, and there is only a particular set of problems which we can cater to. So we try to, create a solution about things in that particular framework of law. So we are not, what I'll say, metaphorically speaking, immortals, we are immortals. You understand the difference between immortals and immortals? No. Should I take 5 more minutes? Is okay? Okay. So I'll tell you a very interesting story about a king Gilgamesh. Have you heard about King Gilgamesh? Yeah. King Gilgamesh was is a 2nd century BC. He was a king of, he was a Sumerian king of an old city of Uruk in Mesopotamia. And he gradually became very popular in the area, and through all sorts of antics, and he became the king. And in the olden times, a king was almost equal to God. He could prevail upon people only when he could impress upon people that he is a god, and people used to believe in him the god, in the sense that he is a god. So Gilgamesh had this feeling that he is a god, and he had a very trusted deputy, a very dear friend with whom he had risen to power. So Gilgamesh used to think that since he is a god, he is immortal, nothing can happen to him, and nothing can happen to the people he decides to protect. Now his deputy, who was his dear friend also, he dies in a war. He basically gets critically injured in a war. And Gilgamesh, then as it happens at the end of the day, he was so emotionally involved in this person, he took his head in his lap, and he sat in the war for 2-3 days. In the war field, the war stopped, everything stopped. King refused to fight the war, he withdrew everything, and he was emotionally involved, and his friend died. So with the dead body, he sat there for 2-3 days before, this maggot started forming on him, and then the body was taken away, and it was burnt. He was less sad for his friend. He was more sad for the fact that he's not God. He's not able to save his friend. So is it denying the doctrine that he's not God? He's not immortal. So now Gilgamesh sets out in this world, on this earth, to look for something, for medicine to become immortal. And he starts moving around the earth. Earth was not perceived to be round at that time. These are all discoveries of Renaissance. So earth was only till where your vision or feet could take you. One end of the ocean, the earth ends. You go to the another edge of the earth where the ocean is there. There is the earth ends over there. So he walked and walked until he was tired. He gave up, and he came to know that he is not immortal. So medical science is said to believe that they are still in this same unending quest of mortality. All the cures, all the medicines, everything which we are doing is basically a continuous part of the Gilgamesh experiment. But even if one day we attain any kind of immortality, we will still be able to die by accidents. Kaise? Road traffic accident. So then we will be called not immortals, we will be called immortals, a non-risk taking people who are very happy sitting at home. क्योंकि बाहर निकल तो मर जाएंगे, तो मरेंगे नहीं. तो हम कुछ नहीं करेंगे, हम घर में बैठे रहेंगे. We will be a leisurely, loose-ended, waste of life. We will be. The point I'm trying to impress is that we might, the police might seem to be kind of carrying that image of immortal solver of all the problems, but we still have a lot of restrictions. We cannot solve all the problems. We can only solve the problems which are in the purview of law, in the bounds of law, and we try to do as much as we can for all of you. That's all from my side. Extremely grateful to the registrars and the faculty of SNU and the students, and my dear colleagues for attending and being very patient. We can take quick questions. I know it is 2 o'clock. If anybody has anything in the mind, we'll take quick questions or we'll break. Hanji.
And the fact that we still don't trust police as much as we should, so as to make this PPP model more enhanced. So is it because if we divide investigation and law and order, the thing that was said in Malumat Committee report, if we do that, would that be beneficial to the society?
See, there is one thing called behavioral change, and there is another thing called operational change in the organization. So what you are recommending is a distinction between the investigation and law and order is a part of the operational change. We have been doing it. We are also trying to do it further because it involves a lot of resources. It is a very utopian state. It is there in many of the countries, and we are gradually moving. No change comes overnight. We are gradually moving to it. We have already been able to do it to a particular extent. We are also trying to do it further. For example, cybercrime police station. It's a non-law and order police station. It's a completely investigation-based police station. So in other police stations also, yes, we have, but we have special investigation agencies like CID is there, like CBI, NI, other agencies are there which look into particular very serious crimes. But maybe not all crimes merit a specialized attention. Some are very petty crimes. Somebody slapped somebody, so it's it doesn't require case ke liye CID ko case doge or maybe a specialized. But yes, what you are saying is right, that we should have a distinction between investigation and law and order. We are already in the process. It's structural change. But again, having interaction, to have interaction with the people more, what we need is a behavioral change. What is the first face of the government you see when you go out of house every day? What is the first face of the government? सरकार का पहला चेहरा आपको कहाँ दिखता है जब आप रोज घर से निकलते हो? कौन दिखता है आपको? The traffic constable. He is neither doing law and order nor investigation. He is doing a traffic duty. If he misbehaves with you, your whole day is gone. और अगर वो भद्रता से बिहेव कर लेगा, अरे सर বাচ্চাদের স্কুল ছাড়তে যাচ্ছেন হেলমেট পরাবেন না, যান আপনি লেট হয়ে যাবেন চলে যান, কিন্তু নেক্সট টাইম you will feel good. চলো, there is a friend in police. So behavioral change is above all these things, and it takes a lot of time. When I'm talking about behavioral change, okay, because I'm a policeman I should talk about, but we need behavioral change in a lot of sectors of the society, in a lot of in different functional wings, in people, in citizens towards each other. When we are there, we need to become tolerant. But yes, police as an organization definitely is going through a strong metamorphosis as far as this behavioral change is concerned. We have been able to impress this thing upon our people. This is such an area which is very deep, very wide. It's a black hole, so you can go unendingly into it. But yes, whatever we see, what I could hear 10 years back about the complaints against police personnel misbehaving, it has come down drastically. In spite of the fact that the information mechanisms have increased through social media, email and all those things. हम 10 साल पहले तो सिर्फ वो एक लैंडलाइन फ़ोन या एक rudimentary mobile phone पे चलता था. Now with this information age and with so much of technology in the hands of the people, the complaints have come down, which I feel definitely there's a good change in the force.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else?
Sir, actually on a lighter note, it's not a question, it's a request, a kind of problem regarding the traffic security that we're talking about. Means now we can see the entire stretch in front of SNU has been covered with railings. So with railings.
Okay.
So the kind of problem that we face, we have another campus few kilometers away from here, Arsekar. So from where while coming down, we have to get down either in front of Tata or in Narkal Bagan and then take all the entire stretch up to the campus. So if we can have kind of overbridge.
Do you go to Park Street? You must be, you're from Calcutta, no?
Yes, yes.
You must be frequently crossing Park Street. Park Street to jate hoge?
Yes, yes.
So if you go 9 o'clock in the morning, you are going towards JL Nehru. And if you are coming at 5 o'clock in the evening, coming back from the, I'm not saying that. Imagine the plight of the person who has the first house on the Loudon Street.
Yes.
But in the larger good, in the interest of better discipline, we have to follow things.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Last question, yeah. One quick last question, please.
Actually, it's a personal experience. A few weeks back, about a month back, I had a massive car accident. Where the driver it was Sunday afternoon, we were coming back home after lunch. Driver just dozed off and for a split second, and it crashed into a divider and we were all injured actually. What I want to point out is that we were taken to the Amri emergency hospital, and in that emergency room, the Maniktala police station people came and they said they will take your car. I said, yeah, sure. But point is, there was so much of extortion, at least attempted extortion, that I was finally compelled to call my friend P.K. Gupta, who was the, as you know, retired as the Additional Director General of West Bengal Police. And they were not releasing my car. They were not, case has been registered, everything had been done, but they were just not released. They were extracting money. They were attempting. Then I said...
How were they attempting?
Sorry?
How were they attempting?
They were attempting by, actually the driver was my son-in-law. He had dozed off. and he was the person who was liaising, because I was in the hospital for one day, and then I went home. Then they were saying, 10,000 taka din, 12,000 taka din. Then I told, then Mr. Gupta told me, he referred me to the SP anti-corruption. Fantastic, we've become friends now. He just told me, Professor, you just don't worry. I'm taking it over.
Who was this, Mr. B.K. Gupta?
He's my colleague. He was the additional director general of.
Oh, okay.
He's my colleague in the Bharat Road Networks board. He's the director there.
Yeah.
And he just intervened. He had to intervene. Without that intervention, I would not have been able to get my car back. It's gone for repairs. I'm able to send it to the garage for. Now, what this gentleman did is that he himself came. I want to praise him, that officer. Came over to the Maniktala police station and just gave them a dressing down, absolutely. What I want to say as a management person is that there is a lack of communication between, I have always seen the top echelons of the police and IPS officers and even WBCS of West Bengal police officers. Very cooperative, but once it comes down to the constable level and the ASI level, that only their motivation is get money. How many times we have seen constables stopping the car and some tout is there who will say, Paisa. So what I'm telling you is there is something called shared value. I would strongly, we are most impressed, sir. So please share this value which you have.
So, okay, first thing, I'm happy that you found good and bad people both in the same organization. Secondly, again I told you, behavioral change is a very evolving process. We keep implementing it. I keep getting complaints. I'm not saying that what you're saying is wrong. I keep getting those complaints. But the frequency of those complaints have come down drastically. And this will die out maybe eventually in a couple of years. Things, as soon as things become more transparent, we have more exchange of information and more importantly, awareness. That's what I say. Stand up to it. Somebody, why I'm telling you sad part is because that person should have been removed from the duty as a punishment. Now, your objective was to get the car, you got the car, you went off. Senior officer came to get you the car, he gave the car, he also went off. But the aberrant is sitting there. Who will take action against him? That is why I say, in terms of cyber fraud or in terms of women crime or in terms of any form of crime, it is important to stand up to it, to create a lesson. I am not responsible only to myself. I am responsible to everybody, to the whole society, at least after a particular age. So how will I make sure that things will improve? You will keep your hand on your heart and name one organization which is completely honest. 100% honest people, honest country. You will find, this is how the nature created us, in a variety. The only thing is how we take care of these aberrations. My objective is, when I get such complaints, my senior officers inquire, give me a report, and I'm telling you, there are at least 10 of the people who have been suspended right now. Because we have to create an example. We have to set an example, not for others, for times to come. So I'm not disregarding what you said, but at the same time, I personally feel this issue would have been handled more professionally and more, thoroughly also. But anyways, you got your car back without paying anything.
So one last.
Yes.
So being in the force, do you think that the police department needs urgent reforms to free itself from the clutches of political decision?
See, this is, I'll say that, police is a very dynamic organization. We are very wide. We are part of the law and order. We are in the federal structure. The law and order being the state subject, the state policies are governed by the state governments. Then you have paramilitary forces, then the central organizations. We are all basically, on a whole, we are police organizations. Yes, reforms are always required in an organization like police. Already a lot of things have been reformed. There are so many commissions, there are national commissions, state commissions, there are courts, there's judiciary. Everybody is monitoring the functioning of police department on day-to-day basis. Everybody, for any important subject. So imagine an organization which can evade all the eyes. Is it possible? Very difficult. So yes, I'll say that, we need reforms, we keep improving, we are umbilical to the society, we are very close to the society, we are like that neuron structure jiske aas paas society baitha hai. So if I take away the police, I call it a thankless job, because if I take away the police for some time, sad part is we are felt more by our absence than by our presence. तो आपको पता चलेगा क्या होता है. पुलिस रख दो तो लगेगा तभी तो ठीक चल रहा है, कहाँ है पुलिस, कुछ नहीं करती है, कोई काम नहीं करती है. But what that entire stretch of how the Bishwa-Bangla Sarni is being manned by traffic cops, or how that patrolling is preventing the crime, or we are catching the criminals and putting them, the area is under control. Now, about the political interference part. See, this is again a very perceptible topic, which I'll say has come up over a period of time watching movies or things. Now, what is defined political interference?
Sudden removal of a officer who is in charge of a duty, which is not suiting even if the ruling party, even if the opposition party, it is not suiting the narrative of that political party. We have heard of news, not just in movies. Exactly.
This is what, this is what hearsay. There are a lot of organizational issues. We are a very sovereign and a very anonymous department. We do not come out with everything in public, right? So you will not come with a side key, why transfer happened or why not. You might not even know why that person might be responsible. He has done something wrong. We have some information of what he was doing inside. We want to take action against him. We have removed him. But outside he might create an political interference. So transfer and posting is a part of the job of any government employee. So it's very difficult to connect it with politics. Now, politics is a very philosophical word. We work under a government. So how do you want to term? Is it a government or a political party? You elected the government. We all elected the government, right? Government decides. There is an assembly, there is a parliament who are deciding the laws of the country. We are the enforcement agency. We are bound by those laws. Am I not supposed to work under the Home Department, not take the instructions of the Home Secretary or the Home Minister? So now you have to define where is political interference. When you are, again, what Praveen said in cyber frauds, when you are carried away by allurement or fear, definitely you will compromise. When you can maintain a balance on both of them, you'll do your job. अगर भैया आप डरोगे तो क्रिमिनल भी आपको डराएगा, पॉलिटिशियन छोड़ दो, ठीक? और अगर नहीं डरते हो तो खड़े रहो अपने दो पाँव पे, चलते रहो. बाकी तो अपनी किस्मत सब लिखवा के लाया, तुम अपनी लाया, हम अपनी लाया, ठीक है? Okay, I won't take much time. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to the entire team of SNU and my colleagues as well. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really a wonderful address. We couldn't have asked for more. A big round of applause for the entire team, and especially putting into perspective what safety and security stands for. We've had we've screened it a little while ago, a video by the Masscom department dedicated to the officers. Please, I would request them to play it once more, because CP sir and IPS Mukherjee wasn't there then. Please, it would just take few minutes.
Kolkata is the city of joy, and for this joy to stay and not fade away, the West Bengal Police Force has always stood firmly by every individual. The city, known for its festivities, be it the Grand Durga Puja celebration, the literary festival, to the International Kolkata Book Fair, graced by renowned delegates, are among the few celebrations having the maximum footfall, and this year has been no different. Under the strict vigilance and immense dedication and cooperation of the West Bengal Police, the legacy of the International Kolkata Book Fair has continued.
বই মেলাকে খুবই গুরুত্ব দিয়ে অ্যারেঞ্জমেন্ট করা হচ্ছে। আমাদের ভিতরে ক্রাউড সার্কুলেশন হোক বা বই মেলা বাইরে ক্রাউড সার্কুলেশন, তার সাথে সাথে সেফটি সিকিউরিটি, সিসিটিভি ইনস্টলেশনস আছে, এর মধ্যে পুলিশ ডিপ্লয়মেন্ট আছে, পুরো পার্মানেন্ট একটা পুলিশ কন্ট্রোল রুম করা হচ্ছে।
The 46th International Kolkata Book Fair continues to amaze the residents as the footfall reaches thousands and lakhs. Despite the heavy crowding, the residents assure their confidence on the West Bengal Police to make them feel safe and protected in their surroundings.
We have a lot of teams here. There are plainclothes teams, there are female police teams, teams which are manning the security gates, then there's a team which is manning the control room. This time displayed various arms as well as bomb disposal kits are there, then drone is there. Also conducting awareness regarding traffic security, women's security, child security. So this additional feature is there from the part of police this year.
দেখুন একটা জিনিস সবচেয়ে ক্লিয়ার আছে, এটা পুজো হোক, কোনো মেলা হোক বা কোনোই অকেশন পুরো কলকাতা জুড়ে আমরাও এটা খুব ভালো করে এনজয় করি, ওটা জায়গায় জায়গায় যায়। রিজন কিন্তু একটাই, কলকাতা পুলিশ কিন্তু দাঁড়িয়ে আছে।
Known for their service and respectful demeanor, West Bengal Police has always tried to stand out. This year, again, West Bengal Police has arranged for a team of security force comprising women named the Black Cat or the winner team, responsible for women and children's safety.
Women empowerment has been defined in several ways. This time, Bidhannagar and West Bengal Police Council has raised a bar by putting all women force together for the safety of women, this time in Book Fair and in Bidhannagar. Let's go and let us know about their work.
উইনার্স টিমের মেনলি কাজ হচ্ছে আমাদের মহিলাদের সুরক্ষার জন্য। যে কোনো রকম মহিলা সংক্রান্ত ব্যাপারে আমরা মহিলাদেরকে প্রোটেক্ট করে থাকি।
ইন্টারন্যাশনাল বুক ফেয়ারে আমরা মেনলি ডিউটি মর্নিং টু মানে ইভিনিং 8টা PM মহিলাদের সুরক্ষার জন্য আপনারা আসেন, কোনো অসুবিধা নেই, কোনো কিছু হলে আমরা আছি আপনাদের পাশে।
All women police team, aka winner team, is providing security to all women, not only in Book Fair Prangan, but in entire Bidhannagar area 24/7. Indeed, it's a great initiative by West Bengal and Bidhannagar Police.
Their determination and efforts towards their duty is witnessed as they patrol all day, helping people in need.
Our success couldn't have been possible without the entire police team that worked for us. Thank you so much. We will, proceed for the next part where we'll be for the plantation. But before that, we would like to close this amazing session on the note of national anthem.
Students, please stand.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
I would request everybody to move towards the ground floor where we'll be planting saplings.